Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to the podcast. We're starting.
Woohoo.
You ready for some bonus content?
Yeah, I'm always down for some subcon.
Supplementary content? Yes. You keep saying subcon, and I don't know if anybody knows what that's short for.
Have we only called it that in private? Have we
Yes.
never called it that in anything?
No.
Oh.
Nope.
Oops.
Well, either way, we're here. We're talking about Florence and the Machine once again. In the episode we did on their album, How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful, we talked about how maybe it was not the best choice to pick, but the one I went with because I thought it would be the most listener-friendly to a first-time listener. Wasn't my favorite. And I talked about how High as Hope was my favorite. I think I called it the best pieces of audio media I've heard recently.
Yeah, totally. Definitely not doing things while you're talking.
I know, you definitely are. That's the more I'm gonna have to cut.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What could you be doing? What are you doing? Is it a surprise? Is it a secret?
No, I'm trying to figure out how to copy a link to. There we go.
Got it. Our episode on Florence and the Machine's How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful came out in January of 2024. It was episode 130. And just as a refresher, I mean, Connor, you gave it a 9.
I did. Give it a big old fat 9.
Yeah, what was your unit? It was 9.
It was 9. You're making me. It's not gonna.
It's been so recent.
Was it?
It was 9.
It was 9.
Peakish
9.
intra-chorus valleys.
What?
It was 9 peakish intra-chorus valleys. What's up, bot? Welcome to the stream.
How's it going, bot?
Gross. Where's the stupid? I can't even find the little delete button. Oh well, I don't care enough. Peakish intra-chorus valleys, because we said some songs on the album had tendencies to be a peak, some songs had a tendency to be a valley, but the intra-chorus was always really good. The space from chorus to chorus, she did a good job. Right. So I sent you on a mission to go listen to High as Hope and report back, and we would talk about it and see what you like better, what you like worse, and ultimately whether I made the right choice in what album to bring you.
And that's what we're doing here.
That is, yes.
On the backtracks.
Spin It Backtracks, the very first one. Starting the year off strong with a brand new type of content.
I have a whole list of albums that we could like backtrack. And, just the ones that you have mentioned. Oh, I really thought between these two albums or whatever, it'd be really fun to make this like a fun little mini series.
I think it's a great series idea, and it saves us from having to like do a repeat episode, right? We don't have to do a whole other episode on an artist necessarily, when we could do just a follow-up.
Now, there's certain ones we definitely won't
albums.
backtrack, and we will do repeats on. Like there's certain ones that are gonna get a repeat.
Yeah.
We're not backtracking all of our repeats,
It's true.
Like first day, I'm sure we're not gonna backtrack the Beatles. We're gonna do another Beatles album at some point in the history of this podcast.
Maybe we'll backtrack some non-Beatles, some Beatles albums that won't be episodes that we'll still.
Oh, that's true though.
Do. I don't know. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
But you gave it a 9. I guess I should have put this over there anyway.
I really like the name Backtracks. You came up with it, but I really like it.
Thank you. I thought so too, because it's kind of threefold, right? First of all, we're going back to the tracks that we already talked about and comparing them to new tracks. Second of all...
Oh, we're going... Yeah.
Second of all, I forget there are 3. There are 3 layers.
Well, it's like a backtrack, right? Is like a background track that like supports the main track, right?
True,
like maybe instruments or vocals, right? And so like this is a background supplemental content that is supporting the episode that we put out about that artist already.
That's true.
And, there's the fun little play on words of, did you pick correctly? And this little episode here is going to prove and back up your argument that you picked correctly the first time around. Or are you going to have to backtrack and say that you should have picked the other one?
And admit my mistakes. Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah. And this is one I'm really curious about. Whether you lean the same way that I do and like High as Hope better, or whether How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful was smart.
Sure.
I gave How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful a 92, but I scored High as Hope even higher than that.
Whoa!
It's like in my top 20 of albums.
That's impressive.
It is. So, yeah, High as Hope, it's not a full-fledged episode's worth of information, but just some context. It's the band's fourth album. It was their immediate follow-up to How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful. Hi, Kara. Welcome to the party.
Hello.
High as Hope came out in 2018, so roughly 3 years later than the album we actually talked about. And she got the album name from a poem that she wrote herself based on her experience in New York City. So weirdly enough, both High as Hope and How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful have names inspired by big American cities, because she took the other name from the sky in Los Angeles. But the poem that she wrote was heady with pagan worship of water towers, fire escapes, ever-reaching, high as hope. Ominous. Honestly, a very Florence-style poem. It is indeed. And she said about the record, she talked about High as Hope and said there's loneliness in this record, and there's issues and pain and things that I struggled with, but the overriding feeling is that I have hope about them, and that's what kind of brought me to this title. I was going to call it The End of Love, which I actually saw as a positive thing, because it was the end of a needy kind of love. It was the end of a love that comes from a place of lack. It's about a love that's bigger and broader, and that takes so much explaining. It could sound a bit negative, but I didn't really think of it that way. But I'm glad she pivoted to High as Hope. It definitely sounds a little more uplifting, a little more optimistic. I don't know. But I really love that she says there's loneliness in it, because I feel like you can hear it in these tracks.
Oh, you can definitely hear it in these tracks.
There's something a lot more hollow to High as Hope than there was on How Big, How Blue,
it's definitely, hollow is a good word to describe it. It's got a different feel to it.
Altogether, yeah. Also different between How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful and High as Hope is that Florence produced High as Hope all by herself, with a little bit of help from Emily Haney, with a little bit of help from Emil Haney.
Herself.
Yeah, just a little bit. That is a very notable difference. We talked extensively on How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful about her producer, about how she worked so much with Marcus Droves to help create the orchestration for the album, and he was even the one that suggested she get away from water imagery.
Yeah. I could tell that his presence wasn't there, right? His presence was noticeably absent, I think.
Yeah, or was his absence notably present?
Oh. Whichever one of those is correct.
I think, either way, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. So I had a couple questions that I just wanted to run by you. We could discuss and talk about, because as you listen to High as Hope, I wonder, first of all, how it compares instrumentally and lyrically to How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful. I mean, we already talked about the more hollow and lonely sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
This one just feels a little more fragile to me, a little more delicate. Whereas I think...
Quickly...
I was just going to say,
finish your thought.
I think How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful kind of asserts itself and makes its presence very known and unmistakable. High as Hope tends to not do that.
Lyrically, I was intrigued.
Yeah?
Instrumentally, I was satisfied.
Satisfied's good. That means you didn't leave hungry. We all have a hunger.
But it was very different.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this isn't one, I think, with a bunch of tracks that you're going to sing along with. You know, you're not sitting here with the Queen of Peace. You're kind of just sitting here, like, wallowing
You're
in
just
it.
soaking it in.
Yeah, like, yes, you have to be a much more passive participant.
You gotta be a sponge.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Did it, I mean, meet your expectations after knowing the last Florence and the Machine album? Was it like, I mean, if you're satisfied, you must have had some expectations.
Well, you had told me that this one was different.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said that you know, how big, how blue, how beautiful was what you thought was an easier introduction to Florence and the Machine.
Yep.
I expected this one to be not as easy as a listen.
Oh, no, I don't think it's much more difficult of a listen, per se. But if I'm trying to make...
It's a little bit. It's a little bit. And I think it is because of the not singability, right? I think an easy listening album is one that's also easy to sing along to by nature.
Okay, that's fair.
And so, again, because I had to kind of just sit there and really focus on this album to absorb it and really get the most out of it, makes it harder for somebody who's just getting into them.
Yeah, that's true. And that's exactly kind of what my thought process was, too. As I was gearing up for the episode, I was like, I love this album. I think this album is, I mean, like a masterpiece of songwriting and emotional songwriting. But I definitely wanted it to be one that you remembered. And I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if on one first impression of Florence and the Machine, Highest Hope is necessarily that album. What do you think she does differently on this album as opposed to the last one? Anything that's like standing out aside from instruments and lyrics, like anything? Just
we already talked about the hollowness to her sound, that echoing loneliness.
Yeah. That's true.
A lot of the songs seem a little more melancholy as well.
Yeah. And even the songs that get a little bit more upbeat, something like Hunger or like just the works, you know, those still have this weird distance to them. This weird, I don't know, style.
I definitely think Hunger is like the standout track though.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that's that's the song that breaches the album, you know. It
reaches escape velocity.
Yeah. It's able, you know, it's able to go into the atmosphere, the Florence and the Machine atmosphere.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, maybe Hunger, but do you think any of these songs could have been on How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful? You think there's crossover potential?
Not really.
I kind of agree.
I kind of feel like, I mean, it could, but I don't think it would work as well. Like, I don't know what I would swap it with.
Yeah.
You know? I don't think it is a better fit than any of the songs that are already on that album.
True. That's a good point. Did you have, aside from, I guess, Hunger, apparently, do you have any other favorite songs or moments that you remember a lot?
Yeah. I liked Grace, which surprised me, looking at the Spotify plays. I figured it was going to be a lower tier song.
Yeah.
I liked the drums on 100 Years.
Grace gets really big.
Grace gets really big. But yeah, 100 Years has good drums.
I really like The End of Love.
Yeah, I was about to say The End of Love would have probably been. I think those four would probably make the four that stood out the most to me.
Okay. I think there's a lot of... Each song kind of has its one hook that I remember really, really well. Big God has that really deep vocal to it. That's really... Like, the piano keeps that one weighted down. That one's cool. Hunger, just the lyrics. Like, at 17, I started to starve myself because I thought love was a kind of emptiness. It just cuts like a knife.
Yeah.
Hold on to each other is unforgettable. I think there's so much to love on High as Hope. And so much, like, gold buried in there. In them there hills. But, I think that brings us to the ultimate question. Did I make the right choice? Where's your preference land? Was How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful the one we should have done for the episode? Or could you have scored higher than, even a 9?
Oh, it wasn't scoring higher than a 9. Calm down there.
Maybe higher in the 9s then.
I think this album... I think this album is the backtrack this week, not you. I think I like How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful better.
Wow. Okay, so I made the right pick.
You made the right pick.
We should not have backtracked. We did it right. That's good. That's a relief. That feels very vindicating. I like this little segment. I like this mini-series.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I like the bigger... less lonely, hollow sound. Like I said, I think I liked Marcus Drav's contributions on HB.
As the big real fans call it, yeah.
Yeah. And the really, really big fans call it hubba hubba hubba.
Yeah, that's us. Really big fans of Florence and the Machine and Hubba Hubba Hubba. Oh, boy. Fantastic. Well, yeah, I guess that's going to conclude this Backtracks. This is not our normal thing. If you like this, check out the full podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts and at spinitpod.com.
If you're a fan of Florence and the Machine, we got a whole episode where we dive really deep into Florence and the Machine. Play some Factor Spin, learn some really funky details about Florence and the Machine, and discuss
what
the
she
whole
likes to
Hubba
smell.
Hubba Hubba album. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we break down the entire Hubba 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 album track by track, which we didn't do here on this one, but go check it out.
Yeah, that's episode 130, if you're looking. Easy to find that way. And until next time we backtrack, keep spinning.
Keep spinning.
But you see, like, listening to some of these songs...
I can't believe we didn't come up with Hubba 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 in the episode.
I can't believe so either. I know.
I can't believe that was a backtrack fund.
I can't believe... You see why I believe, like, after hearing her belt some of this stuff out, that summer in New York, you understand why I thought she might need a new esophagus. She just goes so hard. Like, maybe she blew it out. I could have seen it. Oh, boy. That was good. Right, I really liked the backtrack thing.
I enjoyed that, too. What do you guys think, chat? How's that? Anybody paying attention to us?
It's fine if you're not. Lurk is appreciated very, very much, too. But
hey, they better start paying attention because now comes the fun part.
Now's the fun part. I think it is time to switch over to the Grammy
portion do a whole new intro here, though.
Of the stream. Yeah, we're recording these separately, and we're gonna split the VOD into parts. So the stream's going to continue as is, but yeah, there's gonna be a little distinct break, which is gonna begin, I guess, right now. Should I don't know, intro it like an episode?
I'm gonna do a bunch of claps so you know where to.
I'll find the claps.
There you go. Where it spikes really, really bad. 3 distinct peaks. That's
That's either you clapping or just you laughing.
Fair enough.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new thing we're doing for the first time this year. It's a pre-Grammy bonus content.
Yeah.
Every year that we've had the podcast, we've followed the Grammys and done an episode the week that they release based on the winner of Album of the Year. And that's been really fun for me, and I think for you too. I'm James also, and this is Connor, by the way.
I'm Connor. Hello.
I feel like we should introduce ourselves and say hey. But I've really enjoyed getting to know some of the new music that wins. You know, we had John Batiste in the first year. Harry Styles won the second year. And we're coming up on our third Grammy special. It could be anything.
Could be anything. But we thought, you know, we focus so much on album of the year, you know, with that episode, but we don't get a chance to really talk about the rest of everything that goes on. We tried to, in those other episodes, briefly just touch on some other winners at the beginning of the episode, but we thought it'd be fun to kind of give all the categories their own little time to shine here and try to predict what we think is gonna win.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough call. There are 94 Grammys being awarded this year. Some of them for the first time ever. So that's exciting. But we've made predictions for every single Grammy. We're going to run through our predictions right now in this little bit of bonus content. And then I think you can check out the Grammy episode when it comes out the Friday following the Grammys for the results of this. Who wins and who was the most accurate in predicting the Grammys.
Yeah, we're going to keep score on who's the most accurate, and that winner gets bragging rights till the next Grammys
for a whole year. And I promise we're not going to have that confusion that we did last year's Grammy episode, where I picked the date wrong and had to move it all around.
You want to double check? You want to double check the date again one more time?
Yeah, the Grammys are happening on February 4th, Sunday, and so we're going to be recording the day after.
Listen to our
that Friday the 9th.
The episode that comes out on February 9th will be whoever wins. Album of the year.
There's 6. We've got 8 options for album of the year, and the odds are very high that we may end up with our very first repeat episode.
We might have to do our first ever repeat.
Yeah, the nominees for album of the year. I mean, we'll talk about it way at the end, but yeah.
But we can say
hi, Sam.
Here just real fast. Hi,
but
Sam,
the nominees for album of the year include World Music Radio by John Batiste, The Record by Boy Genius, Endless Summer Vacation by Miley Cyrus. We've got Did You Know There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard by Lana Del Rey, The Age of Pleasure by Janelle Monáe, Guts by Olivia Rodrigo, Midnights by Taylor Swift, and SOS by SZA. 4 of those would be repeats for us. 4 of them. So depending on who wins, we might have to break new ground for the podcast. Felix, hi.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party. You're just in time for the Grammy thing. We just started.
You're just in time, yeah. Just getting started. I know usually at this point in time in a normal episode, you know, we'd probably be getting ready for some Factor Spin. But we don't really have that for this. Unless we won't play Factor Spin about all the about all the nominees. That'd be wild.
That'd be so much. There's so many nominees. And I know so little about so many.
But, you know, the Grammys is kind of like one big game show, right? I mean, you get nominated and you win, and you get cool prizes for winning. And so the Mixtaper got really into the Grammys this year.
That's really cool.
Learned a lot of fun information.
Yeah?
And he asked if he could be the one to come on and, you know, kind of give people the what's what of the Grammys.
The what's what of the Grammys. I like that. There's a lot of information out there about the Grammys this year. Like I said, 4 all new awards. So I guess we'll just switch over to here. So let's bring out the Mixtaper and he can talk us through it. And then we'll start going through our predictions.
Hey, it's me, the Mixtaper.
Hello, Mixtaper. Happy Grammy week. Well, pre-Grammy week. Are you getting ready? You gonna have a watch party or celebrate somehow?
Oh, I am jazzed for the Grammys. All right, who knew that game shows could go so big.
Ooh.
The Grammys is like the ultimate game. It's a year in the making. Yeah. You gotta put in your. You gotta. Oh, there's an echo. Whoa.
There was, but I deleted the thing. I think I got it. The Grammys are the ultimate game show? Or the ultimate game?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you got everybody submits their entry and compete and to win these fancy little trophies. I mean, they're not as cool as the Spin It trophies, but
No, they get their little gramophones.
yeah. Did you know that this is the 66th annual Grammy Awards?
I did. Yeah, that's a lot. That's going back quite a ways. 66 years, in fact.
Yeah. This year's nominations are all songs or albums or stuff that came out between October 1st of 2022 and September 15th of 2023.
Interesting. Wait, what about stuff that came out? Is there like a window of overlap? I guess I've never looked into it, but stuff that came out between the 15th and, you know what I mean? Or
between the 15th and now? That would be next year, right?
Well, yeah,
it would be
next
October of 2023 to September of 2024.
No, you're right. I think I'm doing bad math.
I think you are. Do you need to get the squirrels out here?
That's more than a year that you mentioned. September to October.
It's October to September, so it's like basically.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then stuff that comes out.
So I see what you're saying. What happens between between the 16th through the 30th of September
of 2022?
You're right.
Yeah, what happened to that?
Yeah, you're right.
Did it just not get eligibility?
Yeah, I don't know. maybe it shifts every year. So like maybe next year will be September 16th to whatever date they choose. Or
that
whatever,
could be. And that makes the most sense. It is a leap year.
Oh, that is true. Leap year. But yeah. Trevor Noah's hosting for the 4th time.
Again? He did last year.
February
I thought he
4th.
did a good job last year.
And you can watch it on Paramount Plus or broadcast it on CBS.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but could be. The nominations were announced way back in November of 2023.
Yeah, I remember all those coming out because I started prepping for this episode as soon as I saw them. You know, every year I'm trying to be caught less off guard by the Grammy episode because it always throws me for such a loop. Like you would not believe.
Some cool stats about this year. SZA received the most nominations with 9. That's
pretty huge.
That's a lot. And then Victoria Monet, Phoebe Bridgers, and Serban Gane. So I'm going to choose to go with that. They each had 7, so they're all tied for second.
Phoebe Bridgers got 7. Wow.
Yeah. We did an episode on them. Check them out. Check that out.
105. We did Punisher.
Fun fact, Victoria Monet's 2-year-old daughter, Hazel, became the youngest nominee in Grammy Awards history.
2 years old? What am I doing with my life?
That's what I said, right? It's like Connor said one time. Like, he just wasted his life, right? I mean, 2-year-olds are getting nominated at the Grammys.
Yeah, we do. I do remember talking about Victoria Monet. She's up for, like, Best New Artist or something, but she song wrote for a long, long time. We talked about her on our Ariana Grande episode.
Yeah.
She co-wrote a lot of those
featured
hits.
But her 2-year-old daughter was a featured artist on her mother's song Hollywood, which is nominated for Best Traditional R&B Performance. So
fancy schmancy, wouldn't you know?
Yeah. So you kind of alluded to it earlier. They've added 3 new categories this year. They bring us to the 94 total categories.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 new categories are Best African Music Performance, Best Alternative Jazz Album, and Best Pop Dance Recording.
Yeah, and I'd be kind of lying if I said I didn't mostly guess on all 3 of those.
I know Connor did a lot of guessing, too.
Well, they're educated guesses. You know, I didn't go in totally blind. I picked some things based on title or people that I saw that I recognized. Or, you know, we'll get into it. But there is a fair amount of guesswork in this bracket.
They moved Producer of the Year Non-Classical and Songwriter of the Year Non-Classical into the general field with the Big 4. And the Big 4 being Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist.
That's good. I think that's a smart move. Everyone talks about producers nowadays. It's very fitting that they should be just in the general everything.
They really shook up everything this year. This is actually a good year to kind of go over all this because it's different. So even if you know the Grammys well, things are different this year.
Yeah.
Because they did a whole bunch of field changes. The previous, like last year at the 65th Grammys, who cares about those, right? I mean, 66 is the big new thing.
Yeah, sure.
There was 26 fields instead of 11, not including the general field.
Oh my
had the big
gosh.
4 only at the time.
So they smushed a lot of them together. And I kind of noticed.
And the reason they did this, was to ensure that all the voting members were able to use all 10 of their votes that they're allowed to have. Because due to having 26 fields with only 1 or 2 categories each, it was preventing members from being able to use all 10 votes, because you get 10 votes, but only spread across a maximum of 3 fields.
Interesting.
So, when there was 26 fields with only 1 or 2, you might pick 3 fields with only 2 categories and only get to use 6 of your 10 votes.
Yeah.
Before you're done.
Yeah, that is really interesting, because I noticed there's some weird combinations. Not necessarily the most illogical, but definitely feels like they should be separate in some ways.
Separate. Yeah, sure. You mean like the fact that children's comedy, audiobook narration, storytelling, and music video and film were all together?
That's one of the big ones. Yeah, that's the biggest offender.
That's the biggest smush. It's like, Oppenheimer go up against ABC's.
the ABC album. You know what I mean? Like, that's impossible to judge.
Yeah.
And it's not really go up against. Obviously, the categories are all very different, but just in the same grouping.
Share a space.
Yeah.
So anyway, they did that. So then they took Producer of the Year and Songwriter of the Year and put them up into the general field with the Big Four. And so again, everybody gets to vote in the general field. All voting members get to vote in the general field in all 6 categories. Then you get 10 additional votes that you can spread across those up to 3 other categories.
Yeah, I would imagine most industry professionals save those for categories where they are knowledgeable and that they participate in.
Yeah. That would be the smart way to do it. Although I guess if I was in there, I'd go for the
You'd go for the most
give me
chaotic
10 votes. Let me go find the least. Yeah, let me go find what I know the least about and vote on that.
and balloon the ballot box with 10 extra votes for it.
Well, I think I can only vote once per category.
Well, it's true. Unless you commit Grammy voter fraud. Don't do that.
Oh. Never mind. I won't go there.
Right.
Another fun thing that was voted on by the Academy members back in June 16th of 2023, in response to the rapidly developing field of AI, the Recording Academy declared that only human creators are eligible to be submitted for consideration for, nominated for, or win a Grammy Award.
Good.
I don't know how you would win one if you couldn't be considered or nominated, but glad they spelled out all 3 of those.
That's true. You're right. It's got a lot of fail-safes built in.
Yeah. For you sneaky AIs who find a way to get in there without being considered, still can't win.
You still can't win. Tough luck.
And they said a work that contains no humor. Whoops.
Man,
it's stated as a work that contains no human authorship is not eligible in any categories.
Good, that makes sense.
They further specified
just robot Grammys.
I know, right? That'd be cool. I'd watch those.
I'd watch the
it's
robot
like
Grammys.
The Puppy Bowl over the Super Bowl. That's gonna become more popular. The Academy further specified that works featuring AI-generated material are eligible for the award only if a human contributed to the work meaningfully in the creation process, and that contributors of only AI-generated material are still not eligible. So there has to be some bit of human contribution, and even in the AI part, it has to be meaningfully influenced by a human contribution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
other fun things about this year's thing. They also said that for Album of the Year, the credited lead artist, featured artists, songwriters, producers, engineers, mixers, yada, 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 must play on a total of 20% of an album's playing time.
Wow. Seems low,
there was
doesn't
previously
it?
no minimum level of involvement required in that category.
That's okay. So they've added a floor. That's good. I think that's actually
so
nice.
you know, like when we want to get Connor's Hippin' and Hoppin' album nominated for Album of the Year, Connor has to be on at least 20% of it.
He will.
Otherwise, can't be.
Right.
Now the other 80%, you know, I could feature, you could feature, Spinny could feature, get the Gopher on there, you know.
Right.
Whatever we wanted to do. They also removed the requirement that in the best music film category, 51% of the performance-based material requirement. So it used to be that the project had to be at least 51% performance-based visuals, I guess, in the best music film. Now it can be whatever the heck you want it to be, pretty much. They've removed that requirement.
They have changed a ton.
They have. That's what I said. I thought it'd be important to go over. They also renamed Best Regional Mexican Music Album to Best Musica Mexicana Album. And in the one change that I disagree with, they changed Best Improvised Jazz Solo to Best Jazz Solo Performance. I want a whole category for improvised jazz. Come on.
That's mostly what every category of jazz is, roughly like that.
I mean, yeah, but, I mean, come on. Now I could write it all out ahead of time and still be nominated in that category. It's not the same.
That's true.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the changes going into this.
My gosh.
The other thing that people may be interested in knowing.
Oh, there's other stuff. Absolutely. I was going to talk about it if you weren't. But what else you got?
Oh, I was going to refer to just what the voting process was.
Oh, sure.
So this is where it gets really interesting, and here's where I've got an idea I want to pitch you. All right? I want to become a voting member.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how hard that is?
We need to get the Mixtaper, me, talking in the third person, as a voting member.
Do you know how hard that is?
For the Grammys.
I
know all about it. I'm about to tell you all about it.
By all means, let us know what your ambitions are.
So first off, you might be wondering, you know, you're sitting there watching at home, some album you've never heard of wins some award, and you're like,
looking at you, Bonnie Raitt,
well,
Song of the Year.
Well, let me tell you. The Grammy Awards are the only peer-voted award in music. All right?
Are they?
That's what they state on their website.
I mean,
the only peer-voted award in music.
The CMAs
Grammy Award is the highest honor in all of music. That's because Grammy nominees and winners are determined by voting members who are composed of a pool of vetted and venerable performers, songwriters, producers, engineers, instrumentalists, and other creators currently working in the recording industry. I think that last one qualifies me. I'm working in a recording industry right here. We're recording this.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily is quite the same.
Plus, we list me as a producer on the Hippin' and Hoppin' album. Instantly qualified.
There's a certain threshold you have to meet, right? Of notoriety, or
hang on, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there.
A body of work.
Oh, we're getting there. So, how to become a Recording Academy member? Voting membership is for performers, songwriters, producers, engineers, instrumentalists, and other creators currently working in the industry, yada, yada, yada. Joining the Academy, to be considered for invitation to join, you must, 1, get 2 strong recommendations from music industry peers. Please make sure both recommenders use the same email address for the candidate. The Recording Academy does not accept self-recommendations. So that's the biggest hang-up in my plan. I can't recommend myself, and that's where you come in.
Oh, you want...
I need you to write me a recommendation letter.
I don't
to
think I count. They don't
the
care about
Recording
me any
Academy.
more than they care about you.
Well, hang on. I've delved a little deeper. Here's under oh wait, let me find where it is. Got it here somewhere where I dug into what would count towards that. So, a music industry peer is anybody who is either a professional member or works in industry. And under professional member, here is the requirements to be that. Professional membership is for music business people whose full-time primary business activity directly supports music creators, such as music execs, e.g. label and label distributors, publishers, promoters, performing rights organizers, creator representatives, agents, managers, lawyers, publicists, industry writers, authors, journalists, and music educators, colleges, university educators, yada, yada, yada. I think you qualify for that.
Well, without going into any detail at all.
Without going into any detail, I think you qualify for that.
It's definitely possible.
We can't go into any detail on it, but I think you qualify for that.
That could be true.
So, anyway, I need a letter of recommendation from you, and then we need to, you've talked about on the podcast in your college days, getting to hear from famous people that came into college and talked. So I need you to hook me up with one of them and get me another recommendation letter because I need a second one.
Needs the leverage, huh?
And then, yeah. And we have to submit all this by midnight on March 1st, so your deadline's coming up.
Oh my gosh, well, that's not going to work this year. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that might not work in future years. But that's really interesting. Now you know.
Yeah, but we're
answering all your questions about the Grammys
how you become.
tonight.
That's how. So you go through that whole process. They decide if they want you to be a voting member. They say yes. Boom. There you are. 10 votes plus the 6 categories in the general field available to you. Yeah. Did you know that all submissions are submitted, right, within their eligibility year, yada, yada, yada. But then they go through a 350 expert screening process.
Yeah, I believe that. Now, how many voting members are there? I'm sure you have a number you're about to say. Wow, all this research and missing the one number I'm curious about.
According to Billboard.com, 12,000 of the Academy's total 21,000 members are eligible to cast ballots.
Okay.
If someone doesn't meet the requirements, he or she may still apply to become a voting member with an endorsement from at least 2 current Recording Academy voting members, yada, yada, yada. So you gotta be within good standing, pay your dues, stuff like that. Otherwise, they take away your voting rights, but you're still a member.
I do know people who can vote for Grammys, I think.
So there you go. See,
yeah.
We're on the road to making this happen. But anyway, so all the producing companies and artists and stuff send in their recommendations saying, hey, I think this should be considered for a Grammy. And then these 350 experts screen them and make sure, yes, they meet the requirements, and yes, they are in the proper field. If they weren't nominated in the proper field or they didn't meet the requirements, it's eliminated. They do not make any artistic or technical judgments at this point, just determining eligibility and category placement.
Yeah.
Then
a couple rounds of process.
Once all the submissions are in, then the first round ballots are sent out to voting members just to determine the nominations.
Yeah. It's like a job interview, but you have to go in for the second round and the third round, and then finally you make it to the last round.
So they vote, all that jazz. Then the special nominating committee determines the final nominations. Then, once all the nominations are finalized, then they do the final voting to determine who's going to win, and then there's the results that are tabulated and presented during the Grammys. And everybody gets presented with a Grammy statuette. They are not given one, they are simply presented with one.
Right.
They do not own it. Is something else I found out.
Not the one that they get on the night. No.
Not at all, as far as I can tell.
No. Well, the way it works in other
it says here,
awards
Grammy
ceremonies.
Award winners sign and agree to the following terms as a condition precedent to receiving a Grammy Award statuette.
Okay, so they do receive a statuette, I guess.
You're right. They just don't get it's not theirs. They simply get the right to hold on to it.
Really?
Yeah, it says you acknowledge and agree that possession of the statuette, but not ownership, which is reserved to the Recording Academy, is granted to you upon the express condition that you will not use the statuette other than for your own personal, non-commercial purposes.
Wow.
So basically, they can yank it away from you at any time because they own it. They're just giving you the privilege of holding on to it.
That's
and having
wild.
Possession of it.
If you had said that as a fact or spin fact, I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
That's cool. I thought...
Yeah, so that's a bunch of fun information I found out about the Grammys.
Yeah, you did learn a lot. You really went all in this year.
I did. I really wanted to learn.
Have you... Let me ask. I mean, given that you know the 8 potential episodes we'll be doing on the Grammy winner, have you...
Dinosaur Gang, I also vote for Smash Mouth. I don't know what category it's nominated for, but I vote for it.
They're in the All-Star category.
Oh,
at least that's what somebody once told me. I love it. Love it. Hi, Dino. I had a thought. In my head and I lost it. Okay, yeah. So Mixtaper, you know the 8 potential artists we could be doing an episode on in a week.
Yep.
Have you prepared any surefire facts or spins that you'll use for any? Of
course, I'm always prepared.
Now? Well, like, do you have a spin that you'll use no matter who wins?
Yes.
Really? Oh, that's so fun.
I was debating if I was going to answer that question or not. Yes.
That's awesome. And now I get to
regardless of the winner, there is one supposedly true fact that will be showing up.
Oh, amazing. And that's cool because that means
either
I have to figure it out.
It is true about all of them, or it is a spin.
Yeah, that's fun because that means during the episode when we record it, I'll have to be on the alert and try and see if I can figure it out.
Indeed.
Well,
I think that's enough. I think I should let Connor come back to the microphone, and you guys should get talking about your predictions.
Yeah, we got a lot to predict.
And I need to go working on finding more voting members to write me recommendation letters.
Yeah, good luck.
Until then. Yeah.
Until when? Sometimes he says until then and doesn't give us a time to reference.
I know, right? Well, you never know when he's going to pop back up.
Welcome back, Connor.
Like right now, that was me all along.
Okay. All right, get out of here.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome back, Connor, for real this time.
Yeah, it's me.
Is there anything...
Wait, that's what he always said.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, is it me?
It's you.
It's me.
Is there anything you're particularly excited about to see or hear or watch in the Grammys?
I'm curious to see if this is the year of Barbie or not. I mean, Barbie is nominated for so much, just either because, there's a ton of songs that were in it that got nominated, or it itself got nominated in, I think, the music one somewhere.
Yes.
The Barbie, the album. Mm-hmm. Back in, category 8 or 9. So, I just want to see how much Barbie wins.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see that too. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see a couple of familiar faces that are not familiar to the Grammys lately perform.
Yeah?
One, they just announced today, Joni Mitchell is making her Grammy performance debut at this year's ceremony. And huge announcement. I don't know if you've been following it all. I haven't talked to you about it much, but I think I sent you a link. Billy Joel is releasing a brand new single on February 1st.
Yeah.
Turns out he's playing at the Grammys for the first time in 17 years. And
that's awesome.
He's 100% going to play Keeping the Lights Back On. Turn the Lights Back On. The new single. He's gotta. So I'm very excited to see that and to hear the song and just to celebrate.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So we got a lot to look forward to. But first, let's start predicting. And our predictions begin in field 11 with classical.
Yeah, we're gonna start
music.
at the. We're gonna tease y'all. We're not gonna give you the big ones at the beginning. We're gonna start at field 11 and work our way up to the general field.
Yes. Now I don't know about you, but I did take a lot of guesses on classical.
I did. So I had 3 different methodologies in the non-general fields.
Okay, what are your 3 options?
Pure guess, just, hey, this one sounds cool, or I like the name of this, or yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
A brief skimming of the songs, where I'd start the song and then jump to different points and get like little 5-second snippets of the song, and then pick based off of those 5-second snippets. I'd like start the song, then jump to 30 seconds in, listen for 5 seconds, jump to a minute in, listen for 5. I was just like screening the song.
Yeah.
And then my third strategy was, hey, this is nominated for a lot, or I know this name, or I know this song. So
I recognize this for some reason.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or this has been nominated 4 times. Surely it's gonna win something.
Yeah. My strategies were about the same. I did not do a ton of listening to things I didn't already know, but I did do a little bit.
All the non-album ones, because obviously I wasn't going to sit down and listen to all these albums and screen them, but anything that was like a best song or some best recording sort of thing, I went and screened those, just so I kind of had an idea of what I was listening to.
Yeah.
Or what I was picking.
Right. Well, we've got, Field 11 is a biggie. First up is Best Orchestral Performance. I see we picked differently right off the bat. I picked...
We did, right off the bat.
Scriabin, Symphony No. 2. The Poem of Ecstasy. And you picked Bartók Concerto for Orchestra. 4 pieces. Was that a pure guess?
Oh, you're starting at 87. Wild.
Well, yeah, I started at the top of the field and worked down.
Oh, okay.
And then I figured we'd go
bottom
up
for all the way to.
I think we'll go bottom up for the general field.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hang on. I accidentally closed the tab. I didn't mean to close. And it had all the other things that were that were nominated.
I pulled it up too. I got to see them.
Yeah, and then when I was closing out of all the Mixtaper's tabs that he left open,
how rude of him!
Closed out of that one.
Yeah,
I know. Let me get back down there to. Such a big scroll. Okay, so we're starting.
87, Best Orchestral Performance.
87. One moment. Let me get down there. Oh. Okay, I'm there.
Cool. Was it a total guess for you? It was a total guess for me.
I mean, it was a total guess in the sense that I didn't know any of these ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I was very specific in the one I picked.
Okay, why is that?
Because closing that tab really screwed me up here. Hang on.
It must have.
Oh no, actually this one was just a complete guess. This one I did not screen. Because Bartók Concerto for Orchestra 4 pieces is like a bunch of different broken up tracks on Spotify, so I was like, I'm not screening all those.
Yeah, just like Gershwin's
but I did screen
Concerto.
A couple of the other ones, and I didn't really fall in love with any of them, so I was like,
So if I hate all the rest, by process of elimination, I must like this one better.
Yeah.
That's funny. I love it.
Has the Netherlands Radio Philharmonic Orchestra in it. I mean,
hard to beat.
I've liked everything that we've talked about Netherlands wise so far.
That's true, which is I think almost nothing, but cool.
Yeah.
I just like 2 is a good lucky number. I picked Symphony number 2. Also, check this out.
Fair enough.
The spreadsheet will automatically update as we get points, and you'll be able to see when there's a tie and who's winning and stuff. This is our ranking spreadsheet, by the way. There's an extra tab down there.
Yeah. If you want to go check it out after the Grammys to see who won when it's all filled out, it is available on our website, www.spinitpod.com.
You know it. Up next, I see we've got a tie. An agreement in Best Opera Recording. We both picked Lord of the Cries.
How can you not pick something titled The Lord of Cries?
Yeah, it reminded me kind of Lord of the Flies. And it sounds very like if I'm listening to an opera, Lord of Cries sounds so intense.
Yeah.
Like it's going to tug at all the heartstrings. Good enough logic for me. Up next, another disagreement. Best choral performance. I picked Lux Eterna. I think that sounds like a great choral piece.
Over Carols After a Plague?
Yeah, Carols After a Plague sounds fine, but Lux Eterna? That's in Latin. That's surely got to be good for choral. I don't know. It was mostly just a guess.
I just figure, when I think choral, I think caroling. So, carols. And then plague sounds intense, so this will be intense.
Intense carols.
Carols.
Fair enough.
Unlike the Carol I work with, who's an intense Carol. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I don't work with any Carols. That was just a joke.
HR? That's not real.
There's no Carols. Spinit HR, don't come after me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Best chamber music or small ensemble performance. I actually did listen to some of these and screen them a little bit.
Really?
I really enjoyed Between Breaths, and it looks like, that's the one you picked. Too. You did screen it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was intrigued that it's a percussion group.
Mm-hmm.
Third Coast Percussion.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know how much of it you listen to, but it's like, and all the percussions are between them going,
breathing. Yeah, I did listen to
like
some of that.
Breathing into the microphones, and then there's like percussion in between it. I was like, this is kind of cool.
This sounds like it should win an award. Yeah.
I originally, before hearing that one and being intrigued by that, was leaning towards Roomful of Teeth, mainly because of the title,
Roomful of Teeth.
Band title, Roomful of Teeth. But that's the only note I have there. What's next? Are we on to
Best Classical
Instrumental? You know I listen to these.
I'm sure you did.
Instrumental guy.
I picked The American Project. I saw it get nominated for other things, including, I think, orchestral performance, earlier.
Yeah, I think I maybe picked The American Project in an earlier field as well, or at least I recognized that it was there again. But I just didn't care for it as much. Keogh's Cylinders was really cool.
I didn't listen to it, so I didn't make a proper guess. But, here we are. Best classical...
It's like a whole... Cylinders is like a whole... It's part of a whole album. But it starts out with a lot of really cool... I don't even know how to describe it. It sounds like somebody like banging on glass...
Cylinders?
Bowls.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, just like if you turn a glass bowl upside down, and they had the different pitches. There's an instrument that I'm thinking of. I can't think of its name though.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of that, so I thought it was pretty cool.
That is kind of neat. I'll have to take a listen. Maybe I'll change. I won't change it after the stream, but maybe it'll sway me and maybe I'll regret it. Best classical solo vocal album. I picked 40 at 40. It's got an @ in the title. That's pretty cool.
Heck yeah. I don't remember why I picked Because. I don't know if that was one I listened to or not.
I think you just picked it because.
Because.
Yeah. What about Best Classical Compendium? I picked Passion for Bach and Coltrane. I love Coltrane. And Bach, he's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, Coltrane's pretty great. And yeah, who doesn't like Bach? But I mean, come on, Fandango was in there? Of course I was picking Fandango. I picked Fandango more than once in here. I think you also picked Fandango earlier.
I picked Fandango in a different field.
I think we agreed.
I did try and oscillate a lot. I wasn't sure if it would be smart to just pick the same thing over and over in hopes that it's the winner and I just get a lot of points, or if it'd be smart to like scatter my picks around and Fandango one time and 40 at 40 another time.
I think it's riskier to spread your picks around, but I think it can earn you more points by being riskier, right? Because it's like the logic of like playing heads or tails, right? You can just say heads every time, and you're almost guaranteed a 50% accuracy rate, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you change up your guess, it's riskier because now you can lower your accuracy rate, but you could also raise it as well.
True.
So
you got to go for it.
Who knows?
Risk it for the biscuit. And that's what Bach was doing when he composed all of his works. Just risking it for the biscuit.
Sure.
Best contemporary classical composition. I picked Ades, Dante. Got to go with Dante. It sounds cool.
I also
Inferno.
Almost picked that one. I listened to these, and I was between that one and... So this was actually a really hard category for me, and it was the first one because I started at the bottom and worked my way up with my predictions as well.
Yeah.
So I could warm up. And I hit this first one, and I was already like stumped because I really liked this one. I liked Akio in that space at that time. That's the one that Akio Cylinders comes from. And then the one I ended up picking, Dark with Excessive Bright.
Yeah. I am impressed, though. I mean, these are the first 8 fields. We've picked the same thing twice. We're more than 20% in step so far.
So
it's just going to make for a really interesting situation.
I have a feeling. I didn't really look at yours too much. There was once or twice that I saw we happened to pick the same thing.
I picked first, mine in. So I didn't look at yours at all.
Yeah. But there was a couple times I saw that we were in step, but for the most part, I kind of ignored your half of the spreadsheet as I was putting mine in.
Mm-hmm.
But what I predict is we're actually going to be fairly out of step in these earlier fields, but the closer we get to the general field and the more the less niche the categories become, we will start to align more because we're both going to recognize the artist and the songs more as we get higher up in these fields.
It's true. I think that could...
That's what I predict happening.
That could very well happen.
But we specifically, you'll see when we get there, audience, but we specifically blacked out our general field ones because those are like the big ones, so we didn't...
I wanted the reveal to happen
each other's at
live.
All. Yeah. So we have no idea what each other picked there. I would not be shocked if we picked the same. Well, actually, I would be shocked if we picked the album of the year the same because there's no chance you went with Miley Cyrus. But whatever.
Well, look, we'll get there. That's a long way away.
We'll get there. That's a long way away. We'll get there.
10 other fields to get through.
Yeah. So let's move on to field 10.
Then let's do it. Best engineered album, non-classical. Was there any rhyme or reason to this one? I picked Desire, I Want to Turn Into You because, first of all, Caroline Polachek makes some pretty interesting music. I'm actually a little familiar with her, and that's one of the reasons I went for this. She opened for Dua Lipa when I saw her in concert. That's the first I ever heard of her. And I was kind of impressed. I listened to her Pang album, and it was okay. But Desire, I Want to Turn Into You, I've heard good things, and I mean, with a title like that, I know she's got good engineering. I know production is something that she prioritizes in her music, Fair enough. That's why I went to that.
I went with Jaguar 2 because it was in all capitals, and it's the second one. So,
it's
aggressive. If it was going to have to get a sequel, I mean...
Hey, true. And Victoria Monet's on that. One of the most nominated this year, you said?
Yeah. Which actually, that's what the Mixtaper said. But yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Right.
Victoria Monet is on this.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's her song. That's interesting. Yeah. That could be cool. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Best engineered album, classical. This is where I picked Fandango.
And I didn't.
Yeah, I know you're all about it, but not now.
And the reasoning was there was a reason. Oh, because when I listened to Fandango the song in Field 11, I also, while I was in there, listened to some of the rest of the album. And outside of Fandango, I wasn't really feeling it. So I was like, let's go with something else. And so I went with Blue Hour.
Okay.
It was kind of a guess outside of that, but
Sure. A lot of these earlier fields kind of are. Producer of the Year Classical? I went with Elaine Martone. I like a lot of the look of the songs she's produced. Some of them sound really cool.
Yeah. Well, and so I went with
And she
Dimitri
produced
Lepay.
Between Breaths.
Yeah, well, I went with Dimitri Lepay for similar reasons. I didn't pick it, but you did. The Ade Dante or whatever. Fandango. And Fandango.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these other ones that were popping up in that I'd already done. So I was like, yeah, I'll go with him.
Yeah. Rachmaninoff, there's some recognizable things that Lepay has arranged and produced, this year. Redone. That's cool.
Sure.
Best remixed recording. That's another interesting category. Remixes are sometimes hit or miss for me, and most of the time I get so used to the original version of a song that the remix is a little dissatisfying. But I went for New Gold, the Dom Dollar remix, because Gorillaz featuring Tame Impala is like such a combination that I want to hear it. I'm intrigued.
I almost went with Working Hard because the remixer was Mariah Carey.
No, she's the original artist. The remixer was Terry Hunter. The artist is in the parentheses.
Okay. So, well, either way, I almost went with it because I saw Mariah Carey and I recognized that.
Uh-huh.
And instead I went with Alien Love Call because my history with aliens on this podcast.
Yeah, you do love to call them. So does Machine Gun Kelly.
Good old E.T. and Salmon.
I see we've got another match here. Best immersive audio album. Seems like we both went for God of War Ragnarok.
Come on, how are you not? I haven't even played the game yet.
Me either.
But I know how I just heard nothing but good things about it.
I've played the other God of War, the 2018 one, and the soundtrack was just astounding. And so I'm sure they've only upped the ante.
I've also heard good things though about the Diary of Alicia Keys.
Yeah. That girl is on fire.
Yeah. So I could see that. And then George Strait was the producer on Blue Clear Sky.
Artist.
So
you keep doing
artist.
He's the artist.
I don't know. I don't know what the parentheses means.
Parentheses
it says immersive producer.
Artist.
Parentheses George Strait.
Chuck Ainley was the immersive producer.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't look too hard into these.
That's okay. But I love George Strait, and Blue Clear Sky did jump out at me too. I thought about it.
Yeah. We're actually in a bit of a holy crap. We're in a bit of a match.
Wow,
here.
We did match the entire rest of the field, didn't we? Best instrumental composition. Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
I picked this one for Ludwig Göransson. We talked about him with Childish Gambino. Talked about him for Community. And so many other scores and soundtracks. Ludwig Göransson had to make it.
Yeah, I picked it. I guess we did talk about it with that too, didn't we? But I picked it because Can You Hear the Music's in Oppenheimer.
Oh, really? I didn't even remember it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Also interesting that both
at
of
least
us
when
neglected...
I let's put it this way. When I pulled it up, when I was screening these and I pulled it up on Spotify, the cover art for this one was Oppenheimer's movie poster.
That's interesting. It's also blowing my mind that we both neglected John Williams in this category.
Well, it's because it's Helena's theme from the Indiana Jones movie that kind of flopped, and the theme wasn't even that good.
That's true. But John Williams, he's a legend.
Oh, I agree, and I could see him just getting votes because of that, especially because he's retiring or whatever, and Indiana Jones, it was
it's
one
like
of the
his
last
swan
things he
song,
was
darn near
doing. So I could see some politics happening there and him winning it, but the theme wasn't that great. It's no Indiana Jones.
But it is Indiana Jones. What? You're saying Indiana Jones is Indiana Jones?
No, I'm saying it's no Indiana Jones theme song, right? Indiana Jones theme.
Okay.
The Helena's theme's no Indiana Jones theme.
Gotcha. Just that was confusing the way you worded it there.
Yeah. Plus, again, I really liked the music. Really did a lot in Oppenheimer. I mean, I've pitched multiple times and just never put in the legwork to set it up. Doing a movie soundtrack stream where we dissect a movie soundtrack and talk about how the music influences the film. Mm-hmm. And Oppenheimer would be a good candidate for that if I ever get around to doing it.
It could be.
Because that music does a lot.
Yeah. This one interests me. I kind of thought we'd pick the same on this one. I kind of think this one will win. Well, which is why I predicted it. But best arrangement, instrumental or a cappella, Paint It Black, we both took Wednesday.
Yeah, have you seen Wednesday?
We watched Wednesday together, actually.
I thought we did. I thought we did, but how can you not pick that?
It was such a memorable moment in the show. The arrangement was surprising. I wasn't expecting it. It was really good. And I remember it. I saw that in there and I was like, oh, this is a good nomination. And so, I mean, that just makes sense to me.
Honestly, if I was a nominee, or if I was a voter, if I was an Academy voter, this would be one of the fields that I picked to vote in. Mainly just because of these last, like, 4 or 5 ones. I don't know really anything about the first half of the category, but from, like, God of War down, like, I'm all in on the rest of these. I would come vote for these.
Apparently. And then last but not least, best arrangement, instrumentals, and vocals, we both picked April in Paris.
Yeah.
I think I know why we both picked that. It's probably because of George Gershwin's American in Paris. And, I mean, we've had that on the brain lately.
Mine was because I listened to it, and it was good.
Okay, I didn't listen to it, but I
feel like I put somehow more work into this than you did, surprisingly. That's usually not how this goes.
I put a lot of thought into it. I did listen to a chunk, but I didn't listen to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish I had, but it would have taken forever.
It would. I didn't listen to like hardly any of these songs. I just screamed them. Right. It was Ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. And all right, let's go to the next one. I spent more time probably looking up the songs on Spotify because I had to keep typing in the artist names to get some of these to pop up. I couldn't just type in the song name.
Yeah.
So I probably spent more time looking the songs up than I did listening to them.
Could be. Up next, Field 9, Package, Notes, and Historical. I haven't read any of the album notes. This is a tough category.
Curious if you would look any of these up. I didn't, but I was like, you're the history buff, so like, I could see you going and like looking these up and seeing if you could find them online to compare them.
Yeah, I did use my history buff knowledge, I think, to my advantage, I hope, in this category, but for the most part, it's kind of a crapshoot. For best recording package, to be frank, I'm not even 100% sure what all the criteria are in a recording package. So, what's considered?
My original freaking website had what that was, but one moment. Oh, here we go. Hang on. There. One moment. And I can tell you exactly what it is. Because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was judging off of as well. Actually, this is the one field it didn't tell me what it was for.
Oh, great.
Like, on the other fields, it's like best music film for concert/performance films or music documentaries awarded to the artist, video director, and video producer. Right? It like told me about like what the category was. This one just doesn't.
Oh.
So.
Well, I picked The Art of Forgetting. That sounds like it's got a lot of potential for really interesting album art, recording packages, just all the things that go with an album. Sounds like a lot of potential.
I picked Gravity Falls because it was a cool show.
Yeah, I don't know if that's related to the show or not. The show ended a long time ago.
Probably not. Yeah, probably isn't. But
who knows?
I had no better logic to go off of. So
yeah, I had also a tough time picking for best boxed or special edition package.
Okay.
I really wanted to
pick.
Looks
like we agreed.
Well, we did pick Inside both. Yes, another one we watched together. I thought long and hard. I was like, man, the collected works of Neutral Milk Hotel sounds awesome. Like,
just the fact. Well, I wouldn't know what a Neutral Milk Hotel is.
You will, absolutely, you will.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, is that something that's gonna have appeal to the voters? And I wasn't sure.
Oh, you were trying to play the voters here.
I guess
that historically doesn't go well for you.
I know, but also Neutral Milk Hotel doesn't have a lot of works to collect. They weren't around very long. But I looked at Inside and I was like, Inside was mega popular.
Inside was insane. It was so popular. It even got like a out in like what was it called, like Inside Out or whatever. It was like the behind the scene outtakes that were cut, or like how we put the songs together.
Yeah,
like it's and then it has the box set. Like it's insane.
I think Bo Burnham
Inside was.
I think Bo Burnham's a really captivating entertainer. I think Inside strikes a good balance between being absolutely hilarious and completely devastating. And I just think it's a really respectable piece of art. And so, since it's the only place I saw it nominated for anything, I figured it should take home a Grammy.
Why I went for it as well.
There you go. Best album notes, another agreement. We are crushing. You thought we were going to be so spread out.
I thought we were gonna. Yeah, I thought we would.
We are so in sync. Best album notes, I went for Written in Their Soul with the Stax singers and demos. And of course, so did you.
I go with that one. I don't know why I went with that one. I guess I like the name Written in Their Soul.
Written in Their Soul is great. It's soul music. We talked a lot about Stax Records in our Otis Redding episode. I think if you're talking album notes and you're talking, like, I mean, I also picked this one for Best Historical Album up next, too. And if you're talking album notes and you're talking history, Stax is one of the biggest names in the soul music game. They're the soul label in the same way that, you know, Motown was for Motown music. They had a genre named after them. Stax is that to soul music. And I think there's a lot of interesting history there. I think a lot of demos could be really, really intriguing listens. So that's why I picked that for these two categories.
I picked Fragments, Time Out of Mind Sessions, the Bootleg series, Volume 17. Then because I saw Bob Dylan's name in there.
Yes, in parentheses, so we don't know what he did.
I don't know what he did, but his name was in parentheses.
He's the artist. This is a Bob Dylan record, which is a good bet too.
Yeah. Yep. But that's that field.
Yes, it is. Now for the big smush, the great smush in Field 8. Children's comedy,
music album. I want to know what Logic was here.
Visual media and music video, all in one. Best children's music album.
So for the record, this one is for albums containing greater than 75% playing time of new music or spoken word recordings that are created and intended specifically for children.
I mean, I want to hear the album.
Again, made me laugh because that means, like, if it was for easy math, a 4-track album. 3 of the songs need to be specifically intended for children, but then you could make the other one the most horrifically adult thing ever and still get it nominated for this.
Yeah, I was thinking the album that's like kid songs, Row 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 Your Boat, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the Alphabet Song, and then like Crazy Train. Really awesome. Well, for this one, I was really tempted to go with something absurd, like Taste the Sky by Uncle Jumbo.
Oh, that's what I went with.
Yeah, it sounds like a really weird time, but in the end I went for because look at all those H's.
I liked Uncle Jumbo. I thought that was funny. I also like DJ Willie Wow.
I thought
Taste of the Sky was a funny. Yeah. Hip
Hop for Kids is probably a really interesting album. If only I were a kid, so I could listen to this.
Taste the Sky kind of got me wondering, what does the sky taste like?
Breathe, dude. That's what the sky tastes like. You taste it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know, but wouldn't it be cool to be able to like go up and like stick your head in a cloud and then breathe in?
Fog? I guess. I don't know. Sure.
I don't know.
Comedy album is up next. Best comedy album, and
this was a rough one. It was
hard. It was hard.
This one was a hard category. It looks like we split.
We did. I went for Chris Rock. Selective Outrage.
Here's the thing. I think Selective Outrage is great. I actually knew both Selective Outrage and What's in a Name. And those were the two I was torn between. I mean, maybe one of these other ones will win, but those were the two I knew, so those were the only two I really considered.
Sure.
But Dave Chappelle has won this category like 3 or 4 times, so like he seems to know what's up. Yeah. So I went with the numbers that way, going. He seems to know how to win this. So
he's got the inside scoop. I went with Chris Rock. I was kind of tempted for Sarah Silverman too, but I thought, Chris Rock. He reminds me of Marty the Zebra in Madagascar. He,
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, he's funny, and I don't see his name come up in controversial ways as much as Dave Chappelle.
Circus.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny, though, if Trevor Noah wins this and has to, like, stop hosting to make an acceptance speech and then go back and host? Although, is this televised? This one's probably not televised. Either way.
Probably not.
It'd be interesting. Best audio
Although maybe
book?
they would in order to get some comedians to the to come
To come to the Grammys?
Like
Yeah, that always works so well.
Oh.
When comedians are at award things, I'm thinking of a slap.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of bombed Barbie jokes. I think comedians should maybe consider.
Listen, they've got one hosting, so.
Well, yeah, it's true. So they've got enough. What do you think about best audiobook, narration, and storytelling recording?
I see you went with Michelle Obama. That was probably a safe bet.
I think a lot of people are going to vote for Michelle Obama. This is me playing to what I think the Academy will vote for.
I agree. I went with Big Tree by Meryl Streep.
That's a good pick, too. I also, I could have seen Rick Rubin getting a nod here.
I was looking at that one. But the only two I'd heard of, really, like other like the title of the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've heard of all of these people.
Right.
But the only two I'd heard of was "It's Okay to Be Angry About Capitalism" and "The Light We Carry." So I also almost went with that, but I was like, no, I'll pick something else.
Yeah. I do like.
I had a big problem with the next category, though.
Well, just a second, though. I do think it's very interesting and funny to me that Senator Bernie Sanders is nominated for this Grammy and that Senator's, like, in his title. When do you suppose, like, has a sitting senator ever won a Grammy before?
Oh, no.
Because I doubt it.
That'd be cool.
Has a sitting senator ever been nominated for a Grammy, or is this history?
Beats me, buddy.
I'm Googling it really quickly.
Oh, okay.
If it turns up no results. Oh, as a matter of fact, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama have all won Best Spoken Word Album Grammys.
Yeah, but like while they were senators?
No, but 4 former U.S. senators also have a Grammy. I don't know if they were sitting or not. Either way, that cool thing that I thought was going to be really neat and unique, turns out it's happened at least 6 other times. So, never mind. But you said you had a lot of trouble with Best Compilation Soundtrack for Visual Media.
It's probably gonna be Barbie, right? I mean, half of Barbie's album is nominated for other categories.
Yes, nice save.
I mean, and I see that's what you went with. That's probably the safe bet.
Yeah.
But I always enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks. They do a great job of picking what songs they're gonna put in those.
They do.
Movies. And I really enjoyed. We watched Weird: The Al Yankovic Story together.
We did.
I really enjoyed that, so I picked it just out of spite because I picked Barbie so many other times. I was like, I want to give a nod to Weird because that was great. I really enjoyed Weird.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I know Black Panther also is known for its soundtracks. I could see a lot of these.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever wasn't as good soundtrack-wise as the original, in my opinion.
Probably not. Kendrick did the original, parts of it. I could also see Aurora having a lot of pull. I don't know exactly how big Daisy Jones and the Six got, the series, but, I mean, I heard a lot about it.
I haven't watched it.
I haven't either, but I read the book. And that's not visual media.
I didn't even do that.
I guess it is visual media, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
So, actually, I listened to the audiobook, so no, it wasn't visual media. But we're in sync once again on Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media.
Well, yeah, because freaking Ludwig Oppenheimer.
Ludwig rocks.
Oppenheimer was great.
Once again ignored Barbie, and we both once again ignored John Williams, but I think we're in agreement that,
Yeah. I just don't think...
I think Indiana Jones jumped the shark.
Because it says it's because this category is the award to composers for an original score created specifically for or as a companion to a current legitimate motion picture, television show, or series or other visual media. And I just felt like sure, Barbie has all these hit songs by hit artists and stuff, but it's just not the same as like Oppenheimer that had this whole score written for it, right? I just didn't feel like I could give it to Barbie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different,
Also,
and I guess we'll see how everyone voted.
also just now realized Ludwig did Black Panther: Wakanda Forever as well.
Yes. Yes, he's
I did not
nominated
realize
for
that.
2 Grammys in this category. He's got such a good shot at winning.
So is John Williams. I mean, he did The Fabelmans as well. But
yeah.
I mean, I just really enjoy. I think Oppenheimer and Barbie were 2 of the biggest movies of this year, and they came out the same weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I just feel like those 2 are gonna pull a lot of votes over some of these others.
Yeah, another tie. Best score soundtrack for video games and other interactive media. It seems like we both went for God of War Ragnarok again for probably exactly the same reasons as before.
Yeah.
Who picked Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2? I haven't played the game.
I have no idea.
How on earth can Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 have a soundtrack on par with any of these others? I don't know. But, I mean, I guess we'll see who wins. We did tie on this one as well, and I did not want to pick it because I'm
surprised you picked this.
Yeah, this is best song written for visual media. We've
James,
both picked I'm Just
chat,
Ken.
Audience, people listening at home, whatever.
People listening
James
here.
despises I'm Just Ken.
I don't despise I'm Just Ken.
He did not like that song.
I think I'm Just Ken.
He trashed it.
I think I'm Just Ken got overhyped. I think a lot of people talked it way up before I saw the Barbie movie. I expected a lot more from it. And I just thought
that's what you get for getting all those spoilers ahead of time. And
that's not my choice. It was everywhere. Barbenheimer, it was inescapable. I decided to pick I'm Just Ken for this category because I just think people will vote for it. I also, though, if I were just picking, like, regardless of votes, I would maybe give it to What Was I Made For? That song is just emotional daggers. It sure if you want to talk about best written incredibly well. But also, so much of that song's charm is in the performance and not the writing. I'm Just Ken. I mean, it's a huge part of that.
It's very
movie.
well written, in my opinion.
And that's why I picked it.
Like the portrayal of it in the movie, like the lyrics and the way that they wrap it into the story is very well done.
Yeah.
But there, you got a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a 80% chance that something from Barbie is winning this category.
It's wild. Visual media was Barbie and Oppenheimer this year.
Yeah. I mean, there's the only song in this category that's not from Barbie is "Lift Me Up" from Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. Best music video is up next. Another discrepancy for us. You went What Was I Made For, where Billie Eilish gets rained on with doll clothes.
Heck yeah.
I watched that music video, not for this category, but up a little ways for future categories. It was interesting. I voted for Count Me Out. I think Kendrick needs a little love. I'm giving Kendrick a nod with this one. That's it. He's there.
I saw the Beatles were on here, which confused me.
Yeah, doesn't it confuse you? I know.
Did they put out like a new music video for that song?
Well, as a matter of fact, the Beatles put out...
frame?
They must have, but the Beatles put out their last ever single. The Beatles put out their last ever single post, I think, the window for this Grammys. Next year, we'll probably see the Beatles nominated
Next year,
again.
you'll probably see that. Yeah. Correct. I'm aware of that. But
I know.
I was like,
but yeah, they must have.
I was like, for a music video? I think that somebody out here putting out dropping new Beatles music videos.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, and that I didn't vote for it for this, just because that just doesn't feel. I don't know. I'm a big Beatles fan. I don't know. It doesn't feel super.
It's not really.
Like
it's
the
not
Beatles
them,
winning a Grammy.
Right? It's somebody else making it for them.
Their music video. Yeah. So it wasn't an instant, the Beatles, I'm clicking win for me.
Yeah.
And we tied up again on Best Music Film. Have you seen any of these music films?
No, but David Bowie.
David Bowie, right? Freak out.
I was like, how can I not go David Bowie?
We both picked Moon Age Daydream.
Gotta get, when I see, unlike you on the last one, for me, seeing David Bowie was an instant click.
Well, yeah, fair.
It was boom.
That's fair. It's also like a documentary of his life, right? Or
I have no
something
idea.
similar. I don't know. Either way, I was very tempted to go from the Big Steppers tour for more Kendrick love. Or Little Richard. There's so many good options here. Tupac, but David Bowie. I don't know. I just feel like his would be eclectic and just really different. So that's Field 8.
Mm-hmm.
Field 7. Hope you brought your Spanish-speaking pantalones.
Yes, I have my Spanish-speaking. I was gonna come up with something really ridiculous that wasn't pants.
Hat would have been funny.
Oh. Yes, I brought my Spanish-speaking hat.
It's not as funny now. Good. Latin, global, reggae, and new age ambient or chant. Another
which again,
rather smushed category.
All of these categories require that the playing time be 75%, Latin or musica or urbana or Latin rock, depending on as we go through these. But all the criteria are always 75%. So we could go get something from the Children's album and put it in here, and it would still be fine.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but sure. First up is Best Latin Pop Album. Went for La Neta.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. Sounds neat.
Sounds neta.
Yeah. That's an anagram for neat. As a matter of fact, you didn't. You went for Beautiful Humans.
No, I went with Beautiful Humans, Volume 1. I was intrigued by the fact that it was the first volume. I want to know if there's more volumes.
Well, not yet. It's just the first.
And beautiful. Humans are beautiful.
Humans are beautiful. In fact, there's 2 Volume 1 albums in this category. Gabby Moreno's in Volume 1 as well. What are the odds? Yeah, up next is the Best Musica Urbana Album. There's only 3 nominees in this category, and we didn't match.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I picked Mañana Será Bonito. Tomorrow will be beautiful. You picked Saturno. I guess is probably Saturn.
Yeah. I really like Saturn.
You just like Saturn? Well, if you like it, then
you
should put a ring on it.
Maybe I will.
I think it's already got one.
Cheating on me?
I don't know if it's cheating on you if you never started dating. I don't know. Best Latin Rock or Alternative Album, De Todas las Flores for me.
For me as well.
You. Another match. This is fun. It's like a little match game. We get to find one where we're in sync.
We get to take it off the board every time we find a match.
I mean, basically, it's not going to count. Either we're both getting that point or no one is. Although I suspect a lot of us... I suspect on a lot of categories, both of us will get no points. But we'll see. What about Best Música Mexicana Album, including Tejano? I picked Mother Flower.
This was one of the ones that the Mixtaper told us was renamed.
Yeah. What did you pick?
I went with... Well, you can see. What did I go with?
The listening audience can't see. You're just going to make me say it because you can't pronounce things.
I'm going to make you say it.
You went with Amor Como en las Películas de Antes. Love like in movies of before.
You know why I went with this one?
Because you like movies?
I had a really, very logical reason for why I went with this one. Super logical.
Because it's the longest title?
No. De Antes reminded me of Dante, the AIDS Dante one from the
from
very
way
first
before?
category. So
just because the word looks similar?
So I just picked it.
Hey, you know what? Sure, fine. Why not? Best Tropical Latin Album? Or Tropical? I went for Vida. Short, sweet, to the point. You did not.
Che Sinfonico.
You put the accent on the wrong. There's literally an accent above that.
Whoops.
That's okay.
Well, then you say it.
Niche Sinfonico.
Sinfonico.
Yeah, that's what the little accent is, where you put the stress. Global music performance, we're in line again for no reason whatsoever. Best global music performance, we've picked Shadow Forces.
Did I listen to these? No, I didn't listen to these. So yeah, just we're in agreement. Shadow Forces, they're cool.
It's a pretty sweet name.
Like ninjas, reminds me of ninjas.
Yeah, right, I know. It's cool. Best African music performance, I picked Rush.
Picked Water.
Water rushes.
Well, I just know that they bless the rains down in Africa, so.
Touche. Yeah, that's true.
Figured the water would have at least some of that blessing. It rains into the water.
Yeah. What about best global music album? Went with I Told Them.
Oh, me too. Why did we tie so much?
I don't know why we tied so much. It's going to be a really weird Grammys. Especially, what if they all win? What if everything we tied on is like the winner? I can't believe it.
Nuts.
It'd be amazing.
Or we're just going to have a bunch of zeros at the end. Be like, yep, no, it's a tie with 0 points in this field.
It's going to be sad. But look, we're voting on every single Grammy. Not even everyone that votes on the Grammys can vote for every single Grammy. So, that's big. It makes sense if we're right.
Yeah, honestly, if we get 10 right,
we did probably better than almost anyone.
We did as well as
Grammys.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Best reggae album. I went with Colors of Royal because that's a cool series of colors. Purple, gold. You know what I mean? Colors of Royal are sick.
Yeah, sure. I went with No Destroyer. Because it was by Burning Spear.
Burning Spear's a pretty cool artist name.
Yep.
What about New Age Ambient or Chant album? I went with Aquamarine.
Obviously, the winner here is going to be Ocean Dreaming Ocean.
Ocean Dreaming Ocean sounds like chicken fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's giving me...
I'm just imagining it's like the Atlantic dreaming about the Pacific.
Oh, yeah. And the one time that they get to meet.
Yeah.
Cute. I can see it. I just think Aquamarine is a really interesting ambient album title. I'd listen to an ambient album called Aquamarine. Feels oceany as well, actually.
The main reason I picked this one, actually, was because I saw Hans Christensen on there in the parentheses, and that was a name I recognized for some reason.
Is it? Or did it just remind you of Hans Christian Andersen?
Oh, it could have been.
Either way.
I saw that one. I went, hey, that sounds familiar. Pick that.
Word association.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
I think we're getting closer. We're either a field or two away from where I think actual guesses are going to start playing into these.
I made actual guesses in Field 6. Field 6 is gospel and contemporary Christian music. I took some solid guesses here. Best gospel performance or song? I went with All Things. Kirk Franklin is a powerhouse in the gospel music world. And, I mean, he's probably past his arguable prime. He's just been making music for a long, long time. But still, that name carries a lot of weight. So, I'm giving him best gospel performance or song.
I went with God is Good for two reasons. One, had the most people listed under it.
It does have the most writers.
A lot of people worked on it. And secondly, I almost went with God Is, but I was like, no. Let's get more specific. God is good.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Fair. Best contemporary Christian music performance or song, which is interesting because it's very different than gospel performance. You went with Believe. Seems to make sense.
I went with, reminded me of the Polar Express song by the same name.
If you just believe.
I
went for Thank God I Do. Lauren Daigle's a big name. Jason Ingram's a big name. Put them together. What do you got?
Actually,
maybe a Grammy.
Why do I recognize the name Jason Ingram?
Because he's a prolific writer.
Fair enough.
I was torn. I like Lecrae a lot. I thought about going for Your Power. I thought about going for King and Country. I didn't. Lauren Daigle's probably going to win at least one Grammy. So I picked her a couple different times when she showed up, just to hedge my bets a little bit.
Fair enough.
Best gospel album, I went for The Maverick Way by Maverick City Music.
And I went with My Truth.
You did. Live your truth.
Yeah.
Best contemporary Christian music album. I also once again went with Lauren Daigle, but I do know and have ranked and scored Church Clothes 4.
Oh.
So I was tempted to put that one.
I Believe.
Yes. I Believe. Phil, welcome. Good choice.
Just because, well, it reminded me of
Polar Express.
No. But kind of.
Like,
but
Believe?
No, it reminded
Let's
me
get
of
more
the
specific.
song of the same name from the Book of Mormon.
Oh, yeah. That is a very funny song. I stayed away from Lecrae because I don't know if voters in this category are going to lean too heavily towards hip-hop. Best Roots Gospel Album. I went for Tribute to the King. That sounds like a Roots Gospel album, doesn't it? Songs
that pull me through the tough times for me, because it sounded like it would have a lot of good ballads.
It does sound like that. I thought that title was maybe a little clunky, but not that has any impact on the album at all. And it is a cool concept. I just didn't go for it. That's that category. That's a short one.
Yeah, now we get into, I think, one of the longest categories.
Yeah, Field 5
a lot.
is
Field 5 had a
huge.
lot. We're in the country.
Yeah, country's going to be big. Let's see. We got a match right up at the beginning. Best country solo performance. We've agreed.
It's got to be Fast Car, right?
Luke Combs, Fast Car.
I don't listen to, I don't know how I know this song. How do I know Fast Car?
You know Fast Car because Unwell covered it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is how I know that.
Yeah, we talked about Unwell on our singles episode 15.
I was so confused why when this song started, I recognized it. I was like, there's no way I've heard this song. Why would I have ever heard this?
Yeah.
Because I've heard a cover.
I was confused about it when it first came out too, but Luke Combs, he's been huge. His cover of Fast Car has been huge. Tracy Chapman is out here winning CMA awards. She's the original artist.
I almost went with Dolly Parton, though, just because Dolly Parton.
Yeah, but Dolly Parton's doing her Rockstar album. I don't know. But the last thing on my mind is a country song. It's also tough to look over Stapleton.
Yeah, but I listened to these, and White Horse didn't do it for me. I was expecting it to be a go-to pick as well, but White Horse just didn't do it for me.
Oh, fair enough. Best country duo or group performance. It's a tough one, but I went with Save Me. Jelly Roll and Lainey Wilson. Because Lainey Wilson, we just discovered all about her on our episode.
Yeah.
And Jelly Roll is
an awesome name.
Right now.
Is it?
He's everywhere. He's huge. He's
I was torn between that one and I Remember Everything with our alien believing queen Casey Musgraves.
Yeah, that's true. But Casey...
And I ended up going with that one.
Okay.
Simply because there was a reason. And it honestly, by then, this might have been one that I saw you went with Save Me, and I was like, I'll go with something else. I might have been swayed by seeing your pick on this one, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
I know that happened once or twice where I happened to, as I was going to look at what the field name was, because your picks are right next to what the category name is, where I saw what yours was when I was looking at it. I did my best to ignore it, but every once in a while, it snuck through.
Sometimes you took a little peek. I see how it is.
Tried not to.
Now recording.
Don't mind that. Don't mind that, everyone. Just thought we'd...
we were just missing our audio technician.
Yeah, thought we'd make sure about that. I think Casey Musgraves has fallen out of the good graces of a lot of country music voters. Her music is edged a little more pop, and she's caught a lot of flack for that.
What freaking country artist doesn't do that eventually?
I know. We'll see.
Most modern country leans more pop.
I really think it's Jelly Roll and Lainey Wilson. Lainey Wilson's the Entertainer of the Year. Jelly Roll is up for the Best New Artist Grammy.
Yeah.
It's highly likely.
I like that song. I just didn't pick it.
What about Best Country Song? I went for
Country Song
Last Night. Morgan Wallen.
I went Buried.
Buried. Okay. Morgan Wallen is probably one of the biggest names in country music, but he doesn't get a lot of Academy recognition.
I think my sister went and saw him.
I know people that did too. And I think he could win the Grammy because it's not country music people exclusively necessarily voting for him.
I liked how I mean, Buried is a ballad, first off.
Uh-huh.
And I would really like the chorus on Buried.
I see. But you didn't go for Casey Musgraves here. Interestingly, you went for best.
Well, because I think
but
Buried is a better song, but I thought that I Remember Everything was the best duo performance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different, right? That's where the criteria for the category caused me to shift. Just because I thought it was the best duo performance doesn't mean I thought it was the best song.
Right. I get that. I see that we've matched again on Best Country Album. I was tempted to go somewhere else.
Come on, Bell Bottom Country, Lainey Wilson.
We did both go for Bell Bottom Country. Hey, she's cooking with grease. What are you going to do? BBSP says it's going to win.
Yeah.
Although I was really tempted. Rolling Up the Welcome Mat is also a very, very strong record.
Is it?
It's really good.
See,
actually, someone
the only name I
recommended
recognized was Lainey Wilson, really. So.
Really? Brothers Osborne? They're big. Tyler Childers is big.
I recognized the name, but I couldn't name any of their songs.
Zach Bryan is huge. Zach Bryan is the Something in the Orange guy. That's not the album that it's on.
What?
You don't know Something in the Orange? Okay.
No idea.
All right, we'll get there. Best American Roots Performance, we've also matched up. Is it just because you knew John Batiste? We both picked Butterfly. I knew John
Batiste, and Butterfly itself is on. Isn't that on the album that he's nominated for up in like album of the year or whatever?
It's from World Music Radio. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, that one gotta be a good. I screened these songs and I liked Butterfly.
Did you? I guess we'll get there when we get there. I like Butterfly a lot too. Yeah. This month is actually the month I'm ranking Butterfly, January, and World Music Radio. I've just given it a score today.
Oh wow,
that's cool. When we get to the category, maybe I don't want to. No, I'll save it for the episode.
You don't want to do that in case it wins.
I'll save it for the episode, but yeah.
Yeah.
Best Americana Performance. You really went hard on the returner here. You've picked it 3 times in a row.
Have I? I did, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, moving forward, yeah. This was one of those examples of playing it safe that I figured if it was nominated that many times, it's bound to win one of them.
Okay.
And instead of trying to guess which one it would win, I just picked in all 3.
Yeah, that's fair. You picked it for Best Americana Performance, Best American Roots Song, and Best Americana Album.
Yep.
Interesting. I picked for Best Americana Performance, Help Me Make It Through the Night. Tyler Childers, again, really big right now. Best American Roots Song, Cast Iron Skillet. Come on. Jason Isbell is huge in his own right. Just a legendary songwriter. And anything that he puts out, I'm sure, is going to be gold. Which is why I picked Weather Vanes for Best Americana Album. I went in on Jason Isbell for this, while you went for the returner.
Fair enough.
Best Bluegrass Album. What do you think?
I mean, you can't get more bluegrass than bluegrass.
He picked Willie Nelson.
Bluegrass by Willie Nelson.
He shocked us by winning Grammys last year. Can he do it again?
Yeah. Won't be a shock for me.
I think it's possible. I didn't go for that. I went for Me and Dad, Billy Strings. It's a name I've heard a lot. I think he's got a decent shot at this.
Cool.
Best Traditional Blues Album. Another matchup. Life Don't Miss Nobody.
It's a good song.
Well, it's the whole album that you got to consider. It's a good album.
Sorry, you're right, son. Never mind. I guess I don't know why I picked that one.
Why not? It sounds the most blues out of all of these.
It does. Oh, I know why. because I thought the other ones all had stupid names. I mean, Raiden, Soul Side of Sip with 2 P's.
Well, his name is Mr. Sip.
Teardrops for Magic Slim live. I don't like live albums. We've determined that.
That's true. Well,
I
don't know.
All My Love for You is okay, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Best Contemporary Blues Album. This is here and now. I picked Live in London. I think live blues could be really compelling. As we just saw on our episode that came out recently, B.B. King. He put out one of the best albums ever, and it's a live blues album.
True. I went with Death Wish Blues, because that sounds pretty blue.
It does sound... How blue can you get? That's pretty low.
Plus, it's by Samantha Fish. Fish live in the blue.
It's true. You're right. Fish live in the ocean, dreaming ocean.
Yeah. See? It's all coming together.
It is, yeah. You had a whole master plan. Best regional or roots music album. I picked Made in New Orleans. A brass band from New Orleans sounds pretty good. You went with New Beginnings. You did. Buckwheat Zdeko Jr. No reason whatsoever. Sure.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a reason. You just have to be right.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. Field 4, we're back to another shorter field. Although it's another field that is really, really, really tough for me to judge. It's jazz, traditional, pop, contemporary instrumental, and musical theater.
Mm-hmm.
Best jazz performance. What do you got? Another
John
match.
Batiste. Yep, Movement 18.
Heroes. I do like Movement 18 a lot. I don't know if it's going to win this Grammy, but it's really interesting. I like the way that he makes the piano follow the voice, the vocals around. Anyway, again, you'll hear it in the episode if he wins.
And again, that was me kind of hedging my bet a little bit. One, the song was pretty good, but two, I mean, John Batiste, nominated for a lot.
That's true. He could be our first 2-time episode, and both of them will have been Grammy specials.
Be nuts.
That'd be wild. Best jazz vocal album, I picked Melusine.
Picked How Love Begins.
That does sound pretty good. For Ella, too. With, Patty Austin and Gordon Goodwin's Big Fat with a PH band. That has also sounded good.
I love a good PH fat.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just figured that one sounds like a good vocal album for me. Maybe it's just the foreign language that its title is in. French? I don't know. Either way, I want to hear it sung. Best jazz instrumental album, I picked Dreambox.
I picked The Winds of Change.
That's a pretty fun sounding pick. Actually, I like the titles of both of those.
The Winds of Change come out of the Dreambox.
Maybe they do. Best large jazz ensemble album. I picked Basie Swings the Blues because I love Basie.
I almost picked that one. I went with Dynamic Maximum Tension.
Interesting.
It's so tense, so dynamic, so maximum.
Yeah, can't get more maximum or tense or dynamic than that. I don't know. I just think the Count Basie Orchestra's got a reputation here. And a Grammy for them wouldn't surprise me.
I totally could see it.
Best Latin jazz album. I went with Quietude. What a cool portmanteau.
I went with My Heart Speaks.
And so it does. Does your heart tell you that My Heart Speaks is going to win a Grammy?
Actually, my heart told me it would be Vox Humana, but I didn't listen to it.
Oh, My Heart Speaks, and I ignore it.
My heart speaks, but my brain doesn't listen.
Yes. That's the sequel album. That's what'll come next.
Oh.
Best alternative jazz album. I went with the Omnichord Real Book. What a cool name. Sounds neat.
Quality over opinion. Or as I put in here, opinion.
Yeah, you didn't spell it correctly. But that's okay. Another match.
I think that's been my first typo, so I'll take it.
Yeah, that's true. And I had a typo on butterfly, so I can't even blame you. Oh, that's my Badoop. Don't worry about that.
Hey, guess what? Didn't come through Discord, at least.
No, of course not.
Also, no typo to be found.
Good. Good, great.
I like the name Quality Over Opinion. I thought that was a cool name.
It is a cool name. We got another match. We've tied again on Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album with Only the Strong Survive.
Yeah, I went with Bruce Springsteen here. I almost went with Pentatonics just for the lulz.
Yeah, but Bruce Springsteen. Springsteen.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
He's the
exactly.
boss. I think he could win it. Best Contemporary Instrumental Album. I went with All One.
Unbecoming by House of Waters. Why? Because I picked water earlier.
You're going all Florence and the Machine. All your picks are water related, water themed. Wild. Best Contemporary. That's the one I just did.
I didn't know what to pick here.
Best Musical Theater Album.
Oh, gosh, I didn't know what to pick here.
I had a tough time as well. I thought about.
You went with Shucked.
I went with Shucked.
Great name.
Shucked it's a great name. It sounds cool. It sounds like it's about corn. Shane McAnally and Brandy
Sure
Clark
does.
are on it. That's pretty great.
I went with the more something that probably is more of a well-known one. I went with Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't pick it, because I did know it, and I was like, it's okay. But in terms of all the musical soundtracks
like Sweeney
I've ever
Todd.
heard, I do too, don't get me wrong. But in terms of all the musical soundtracks I've ever heard, it kind of is in like
I didn't know any of the other ones, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, to
So
be fair,
I had to go with what I knew.
I've just heard a lot of people talking about
Plus, it had Josh
Shucked.
Groban in it, so people like Josh Groban.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about Shucked. I've seen it
Fair enough.
mentioned or referenced out there, so I went for it.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're all up in field 3 already, where things are gonna get. This is about where I thought we'd start agreeing on stuff
As if
more.
I think we've been agreeing plenty. But
I
you're
know.
right.
I can't believe how much we've agreed, but this is where I thought we would start agreeing.
I do expect to see some more agreements, and it looks like just at a first glance we definitely do.
Just right off the.
Definitely do. Up first, best R&B
SZA's
performance.
big.
We both picked Kill Bill. SZA's big. SZA's huge right now. I mean, she's got nominated for 9 of these, the most out of anyone this year. I think she's going to walk home with at least 4. I don't know.
Probably.
We'll see.
But you don't think they're walking away with the next one, best traditional R&B performance?
No, best traditional R&B performance I gave to Victoria
You gave it to Victoria Monet.
But it features Earth, Wind, and Fire and the 2-year-old Hazel Monet.
Oh, you think the 2-year-old's going to win?
Yeah, totally. What if this is
that's
a
awesome. I wish I'd picked
Grammy?
that one now. If I'd realized that a 2-year-old was on it.
No, you picked Love Language instead. You went for SZA a second time.
Yeah, because SZA. I went for SZA again.
Have you listened to any of SOS? Like even these songs yet?
I listened to Love Language and Kill Bill.
I'm really curious then. Okay, I guess we'll see if we end up doing that as our episode. I don't know. Could be fun. What about best R&B song? I went back to SZA and took Snooze.
I didn't in this one. I went ICU. I got off of SZA there.
You did. I don't know. I almost thought about On My Mama. I listened to that. That song goes really hard and could totally win. Honestly, any category it's nominated for.
So to be honest, I picked ICU because I thought at this point, like, there's no way SZA sweeps all of theirs. There's no way they get 9 for 9.
No.
And same thing with Victoria Monet. There's no way they get 7 for 7. So I thought this is a good time for voters who are getting a little Grammy fatigued of seeing SZA and Victoria Monet to pick somebody else. So I really narrowed it down to the tracks that they weren't on and picked my favorite out of those.
Well, to be honest, yeah, it would be impossible for both of them to go full everything because they've been cross-nominated for so many things.
You're correct, but
including
I just
best progressive R&B
I
album.
feel like Grammy fatigue is a thing, right? I know if I was a voter, I'd hate voting 8 out of my 10 votes for the same person over and over, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I'd be like, all right, they've already won all these other bigger ones. Let me throw this smaller one at somebody else who's only nominated for this category, but had a good song too.
Yeah. Best progressive R&B album is a hard category because we've both picked different ones.
I went back to SZA.
And we've both picked albums that are nominated for Album of the Year. I went with Janelle Monáe and The Age of Pleasure.
I went back to SZA with SOS.
I think SOS has a lot of really good stuff going for it. However, I think The Age of Pleasure more completely embodies what I would expect from a progressive R&B album.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough call. I also think SOS has a better shot at Album of the Year than The Age of Pleasure.
Mm.
And
interesting.
Yeah, I know. Just to show my hand a little bit. So I went for The Age of Pleasure here in Field 3.
Fair enough.
But it could go either way, I guess. Best R&B album, though. We are once again in agreement, and we are once again at Jaguar 2 in all capitals.
Yep. Back to Victoria Monet. I picked Jaguar 2 earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Picked it here. Big fan of Jaguar 2, just based off the name. Haven't listened to it.
No, the second Jaguar. Best rap performance. I went for Rich Flex, Drake and 21 Savage. I'll be honest.
See, this is where I gave Kendrick some love. I gave Kendrick Lamar the Hillbillies here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I listened to my first Drake album recently, and it really surprised me. And so I haven't listened to this recent stuff as much yet, but I'm willing to put a little bet on it. Sure. Best melodic rap performance. We are once again in agreement, and it is once again SZA. No surprise. Look how many times we've similarly picked SZA. That's wild.
This is why I said that I thought we'd start agreeing more in this category, because who's not picking SZA and Monet for most of these, except for the one time I didn't.
They're much safer picks than some of the others you could make.
So I was shocked at how much in just our guesses we picked the same thing.
Yeah.
Best rap song is up next.
Best rap song. We've matched one more time.
Barbie's back.
Barbie World.
I mean, Ice Spice has been blown up recently. They've gotten on my radar, and I'm not a rap person at all. Mm-hmm. Nicki Minaj is on this. It was in the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's got everything working for it that a lot of other songs in this category don't.
Part of me wanted to pick Scientists and Engineers simply based off the name, but didn't.
Yeah, no, but I guess we'll have to just vote and cheer collectively for Barbie World.
Yeah.
Best rap album. We've also
agreed. We both went
again.
Travis Scott.
Weird that we both went Travis Scott, because I really wasn't sure about this.
Well, so to me, I'm not a big fan of Drake. Didn't know who Killer Mike was. Didn't know who Metro Boom was. Wasn't sure if Nas was Lil Nas X or not.
No, it's not.
Or they were two separate people. I figured they were separate people.
Yeah, definitely very
and
separate.
So the only one I really knew and have at least heard songs I liked was Travis Scott.
I went for Travis Scott because I didn't see any other nominations for him. I mean, he had the whole Astroworld debacle. But
yeah, absolutely.
I think I like Drake. I don't know if I like 21 Savage as much. And I don't know, just Drake tends to have really long albums. I don't know if that's best rap album style. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll just vote for Utopia and Travis Scott and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Best spoken word poetry album is the last one, rounding out Field 3. I picked, for your consideration, 24, the album, because I just thought that was really funny and ironic.
I really like the one I picked mine for a similar naming reason. It was Queen Sheba's A, You're Not Wrong, B, They're Not Either.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was funny.
It is funny. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. That's a category that is just going to be what it's going to be, and I can't really make an educated guess on best spoken word poetry
absolutely.
album. I haven't dropped the needle on any of these.
Mm-hmm. Up to Field 2. We're in the rock, metal, and alternative.
Rock, metal, alternative. Short field again. Only, 6 categories here? Best rock performance. We've matched Not Strong Enough. We think Boy Genius is going home with Best Rock Performance.
Well, Boy Genius was a fan favorite. I think they've been nominated for a lot, weren't they? Another one of the ones that was nominated for a bunch.
Well, you said Phoebe was nominated for 7, and I presume most of that is with Boy Genius, if not all of it.
Was with Boy Genius, right? Yeah, exactly. So definitely think Not Strong Enough. I know several people who like Boy Genius, so
me included. I know.
Oh, okay.
I like Boy Genius. I don't know what kind of shot they're looking at with Album of the Year, but they're nominated, which is huge, and I think they really do have an honest chance to win a lot of the things they've been.
I know somebody that's very passionate that they should win Album of the Year.
Really?
So that kind of influenced me to pick them.
Yeah. Well, I think Not Strong Enough is a really good pick for Best Rock Performance. Best Metal Performance, we both probably picked a really strange choice for Metal Performance. We both picked Phantom of the Opera, but by Ghost. And that's what did it for me. I looked at this list and, I mean, Disturbed, Metallica. Metallica's like, I don't know, is new Metallica very good? I haven't listened to new Metallica. But I recognize names, but then Ghost. Ghost is huge right now. Everyone's been talking about Ghost. Everyone's been going to see Ghost.
I picked it just because the song was called Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, I think that's probably all you needed. But if there's any metal band I think that can do a killer rendition of Phantom of the Opera that would stand out in a crowd of metal performances, I think it's Ghost. Best rock song, you went back to Not Strong Enough, which I think is fine too. Another good pick for Best Rock Song.
Back to Boy Genius.
I deviated a little bit. Hi, Impulse. Let me take a drink.
Impulse.
Gotta hydrate. I haven't hydrated this whole time. I made this pick for the voters. I picked Olivia Rodrigo's Ballad of a Homeschool Girl.
So I also was interested in picking that one because I put that on and I thought it was a very interesting song. Olivia Rodrigo is one of the ones that I think of the repeats. They're not my go-to repeat, but we'll get there. But like they'd be a repeat I'd be okay with just because I'm interested to find out how their sound and songwriting has matured since last time we did them.
Oh, I can tell you something. I don't know if it's much. I
like the like rockier sound that she had on the couple of songs that I listened to that came up as that I was screening. It had more of a rock, edgier side to it than the like teen pop that I felt. I'm gonna get Sour had.
Yeah, it's a lot edgier than Sour. It is, and I guess in that sense, it's matured a lot. It's definitely different, and we'll see. We'll just see if it wins. I have strong opinions about Olivia Rodrigo and Guts, probably more than most of the other albums up for Album of the Year, I think.
Interesting.
But I picked it here because I think people will vote for it, really. I think maybe even if it's not the best rock song, I think people will respect her age and her experience. And she won Grammys for Sour already, which Sour, in a lot of ways, is a little beneath Guts. So, It could happen.
Yeah.
Best rock album, I went for Starcatcher, Greta Van Fleet, Baby Led Zeppelin. I know the thing. I know it's a whole thing. But Greta Van Fleet's really big, and I think they could take it.
I went for But Here We Are. Get a little foo in my pick.
Yeah.
Wasn't enough foo going around in my picks.
Might as well. A little foo for you, but here we are. We've matched again with Best Alternative Music Performance, and we both went for Lana Del Rey.
I almost went with Cool About It by Boy Genius again. I almost did, but I also know Lana Del Rey has been big lately. And
yeah, she's been nominated for a lot this year, too. Quite a bit.
Yeah, so I was like, let's throw some Grammy love her way.
Yeah.
Plus A&W. I mean, it's a classic root beer.
A&W is a classic root beer. That's sure not what she sings about. Did you listen to this one?
No.
Oh boy, A and the W mean something really different. Actually, this song was. I just listened to Lana Del Rey's album this month too to prepare for the Grammys in case she wins Album of the Year. A and W is such a welcome, like surprising,
Is that
and
what the W stands
refreshing
for?
departure from her
Is
normal
it
sound.
a welcome?
No,
Is
it's
that what
not
A&W
a
stands for?
welcome. That's not it. No,
Oh, okay.
I really liked A&W. I really liked a lot of the stuff on Lana's album. Coming back to think about it, the first time through it was a little hard, but I really came around after a couple listens.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like every other Lana Del Rey album, but that's why you go back. You know, this consistency. You know what you're gonna get. But with A&W and like Peppers and other stuff, sometimes you don't. Yeah.
I went back for Boy Genius in our last category in Field 2, Best Alternative Music Album.
Best alternative
For the
music
record.
album? So did I. The Record. I think that's got a strong shot to win. I mean, it's almost the album of the year. So
Yeah?
I really do have to give it an edge in these categories. Plus, it's vocal or instrumental, definitely the vocals on the record are stellar. There's a cappella tracks on there, or sections of tracks, and I think the record is so strong. It's going to walk out with some Grammys.
Sure.
Now we're into Field 1. This is a biggie.
We're getting close.
Getting really close to the general field. Best pop solo performance. I went to Taylor Swift and Anti-Hero. She's been tearing up 2023.
I
and
know. This was
2024.
a hard field.
Yeah.
I mean, Vampire, Olivia Rodrigo, that one was a cool song when I listened to it. What Was I Made For? We already talked about how that performance is really good, and it's the best pop solo
Unbelievable.
performance, right? So
Yeah.
I was like really wanting to pick that one, but I was
And
going
you
to bit
went-
of Barbie fatigue at this time.
And you went
I
for
went with my girl.
Flowers.
I went with my girl, Flowers, Miley Cyrus. That song blew up the summer. When that album came, I'm afraid, okay, we'll get there. We'll talk about this a little more when we get to Album of the Year. I'm worried Flowers came out so early in 2023. It's out of people's minds come time to vote here in 2024.
I think that's
But-
definitely a thing to consider.
But when it came out, it was like the only song on the radio when you flip to a pop station. It was in all the, malls and stores and stuff. I mean, it was everywhere. Flowers just... Because it was like one of the first singles released before the rest of the album dropped, right?
It was the
And
first single release.
it just went insanely popular. So, plus I really like it.
I think Flowers is one of the weakest songs in this category and one of the weakest
Wow.
songs from Endless Summer Vacation.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was not my favorite. I'm kind of surprised you picked it here in such a stacked category. But I guess knowing you and how you feel about Miley Cyrus.
the only two that I actually knew going into this was What Was I Made For and Flowers. The rest were just screens. So
Okay.
I was really already down to those two. I did like Vampire and Anti-Hero. Paint the Town Red was okay.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know him well enough, and I don't know. I just
Yeah.
didn't want to pick her, so
Sure.
I didn't.
Fair enough. Well, you did depart from your girl on best pop duo
I did.
or group performance. We tied again.
Yeah.
We both picked Karma, Taylor Swift and Ice Spice.
Mainly for Ice Spice in this scenario. Again, I know she's blown up big, and I liked Karma when I listened to it.
Yeah.
And again, this is all about the duo performance, right? So, like, while I like Miley Cyrus, I didn't care for Brandy Carlisle's contribution to 1,000 Miles.
Oh, okay.
I also really thought about picking Candy Necklace just because it had Lana Del Rey and John Batiste on it.
Yeah, they did an interesting
I was like,
thing.
that's a powerhouse. And then same thing with Ghost in the Machine, SZA and Phoebe Bridgers. I was like, whoa! But
I know.
I figure I had to throw something Taylor's way, so
Sure.
I gave her Karma.
Hey, might as well. Maybe you'll get some
Mainly
good karma
for the hope
that.
that Ice Spice gets some recognition.
Yeah. Lana Del Rey and John Batiste kind of swapped. She has a track on his album and he has a track on hers. So they've both doubled their chances at being on a Grammy album of the year.
Yeah.
Who
Fair
knew?
enough.
But yeah, SZA and Phoebe is a good pairing too. But it's Karma for me.
This was, I felt, really stacked. But yeah, I went Karma.
Yeah. Best pop vocal album. We've got
Endless
another
Summer
match.
Vacation. Here we go. You went with some Miley Cyrus. All right.
I went for Endless Summer Vacation.
So you think the best pop album was? You think Miley Cyrus's album was better than Midnight's? Huh? I remember you staying up to like listen to Midnight's when it came out.
I did listen to Midnight's when it came out. That's true. First of all, I'm
surprised that you picked Endless Summer Vacation here.
Well, let's talk about chemistry. Kelly Clarkson. To be frank, I haven't heard the entire thing, but
me neither.
Ed Sheeran, Subtract. We're talking about a vocal album here. You want me to pick Ed Sheeran for the best pop vocal album? Nothing against him or his music. I like Ed Sheeran. But if we're talking vocal album, that ain't it. Midnight's for Taylor. You can see my ranking. I think I talked about it in the Taylor Swift episode, or at least the B-side cut. I think Midnight's is a mid-tier album for Taylor. I don't think it's necessarily her best vocal performance. And maybe that's just me comparing her to herself and not to the other Grammy nominees here. But I would say my top two are Guts, which Olivia Rodrigo performs the crap out of.
You didn't feel it was much better than... You said it was better, but you still said you didn't think she'd matured that much. So yeah, okay, Miley Cyrus. I'll take you picking her.
Yeah, Endless Summer Vacation gets my best pop vocal album vote. Although again, the way people vote,
I'm just worried
Guts would not surprise me.
Yeah, I'm just afraid Endless Summer Vacation doesn't have the public's attention like it did when it first came out.
Well, it's endless.
I know.
Best dance or electronic recording is up next. We've got Loading for me. I picked Loading by James Blake.
I picked Rumble.
You went for Skrillex.
I recognize Skrillex. Yeah.
I also noticed that
plus Flowdan.
Yeah, and I realized that Fred again is up for a couple Grammys this year too. So Rumble might be a really strong pick.
Fred, heck yeah. Fred again is right up here with Strong.
Mm-hmm.
He's in here twice.
Yeah, and I think for Best New Artist, he's Fred again and again.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about Best Pop Dance Recording? I don't know. Neither of us are a bunch of dancers.
You picked Rush. Interesting.
I did go for Rush.
I'm really surprised you didn't pick Baby Don't Hurt Me.
Baby Don't Hurt Me.
No more.
I wasn't feeling it. I was thinking of that
again, this
too
is
much.
A song that I know somehow. I don't know how I know Baby Don't Hurt Me, but I do.
I guess
heard
you
it somewhere.
Yeah. If I went for anything...
Because when I first saw it, I said, oh, Baby Don't Hurt Me. I said, I know a song that goes like that, but I can't possibly be this one because if I know it, it can't be that new. I don't really know a lot of new stuff. And then I went and screened it, and I was like, no, this is it. I know this. And so I just picked it.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I've heard Troye Sivan's name a lot in other things. I just...
Okay.
The name comes up a lot. And
you said Troye Sivan, not Steven. I heard Steven, but then I looked, and I was like, that's not Steven.
That's correct. I didn't say Steven. I think Baby Rexha is a strong pick, and Calvin Harris is also. These people are known for dance pop, and I don't listen to a lot of dance pop, so it's honestly a little hard to make a judgment, but who knows?
Fair enough.
Best dance or electronic music album is going to close out Field 1. I picked For That Beautiful Feeling. Picked the Chemical Brothers. Sounds like a beautiful feeling.
Yeah. This one, I guess if I'd realized Fredigan was in here so much, I would have picked that, but I didn't. I picked KX5 by KX5.
Maybe it's K by 5.
Could be K by 5.
K times 5?
K times 5.
Maybe it's Kicks 5.
Maybe it's KKKKKK.
Oh, that's, 5 Ks. Who knows? We'll see. I'm excited about this category. I think this category is going to include some easy guesses. I think we're right about some of these. And I think it's going to include some surprises.
Yeah, sure.
That takes us
now into the general field, Field 0.
All blacked out.
Blacked out.
I think we should do one at a time here. We'll go from the bottom up this time. And start with Songwriter of the Year.
Number 6, Songwriter of the Year.
Non-classical.
All right, I want to make a guess at what I think you picked. I think that'd be fun.
Okay, well, so the nominees, I guess we'll run through the nominees for these ones, just so
okay. Oh, yeah, that's
when
fair.
we reveal,
it's like, ones.
We've got Edgar Barrera. We've got Jesse Joe Dillon. We've got Shane McAnally. Got Theron Thomas. Got Justin Tranter. Those are your Songwriter of the Year options.
I'll be honest, I'm forgetting who I picked.
You
Oh no, I know who I
you
picked. I know who I picked. Sorry. No. I remember now.
Okay. Sorry, I got a cough.
I think you picked. Did you pick Shane McAnally? That's my
I
guess.
picked.
I mean, don't tell me. Don't tell.
I'm going to reveal.
Yeah.
I picked
Okay,
Jessie Joe Dillon.
Jessie Joe Dillon.
Been tearing up the country game. She's got songs by Megan Maroney, Jelly Roll, Old Dominion, Dan and Shay.
Oh yeah, you said you like Jelly Roll.
She's just been everywhere. Her name's been everywhere. And I thought I saw just recently that she got inducted into some kind of Hall of Fame, but I Googled that to confirm it, and I couldn't find evidence. But I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So
who do you think I picked?
I think you don't even remember who you picked.
I know who I picked. I remember.
Okay.
I had to look at what songs were listed under.
I think you went for Justin Tranter.
Justin Tranter?
Mm-hmm.
You may reveal.
All right. Connor has
I went
picked.
with Justin Tranter.
Oh, yes. I knew it. I called it.
Because, I mean, Miley Cyrus, River, right? And also, because they did, I just recognized, the cast of Grease from Rise of the Pink Ladies. So I was like, oh, okay, I recognize that.
Uh-huh.
But mainly it was for River, Miley Cyrus.
Of course. Just like a river.
Yeah.
Producer of the Year non-classical is another category that is just so interesting. I don't know. We've got Jack Antonoff, Ernst DeMille, Emile. We've got Hit Boy. Got Metro Boomin, who you already said you didn't know. Daniel Negro from Olivia Rodrigo's stuff.
You want to reveal me first on this one? Who do you think I did?
Yeah, who's your producer of the year?
It is Jack Antonoff.
Jack Antonoff. All his Taylor Swift stuff and Lana Del Rey.
Because he did Taylor. I mean, yeah, he did. I mean, Lana Del Rey, the 1975, which we've done. Taylor Swift. Victoria Monet's Jaguar 2 is in there. You know. So.
Yeah, he's been just Jack Antonoff has been the producer people talk about for the last several months, and that's why you're gonna find.
Is that why you picked him too?
That we have matched again. Jack Antonoff is my pick for producer of the year. Yep, no surprise there. Best new artist is a hot category.
This is a tough one.
It's a tough call. Gracie Abrams, Fred again, Ice Spice, Jelly Roll, Coco Jones, Noah Kahan, Victoria Monet, The War and Treaty. I had about six. I had about six of these. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at Victoria Monet, Coco Jones, Jelly Roll, Ice Spice, and Fred again. At least are 5 that I know were nominated elsewhere. I don't think Noah Kahan, The War and Treaty, and Gracie Abrams were nominated anywhere else.
I don't believe so. But The War and Treaty has just taken off. I saw them before anyone was talking about them. They opened for John Legend a couple years ago. They blew me away then, and they continue to blow me away now. They've been doing great work. I just don't know if they're like best new artists or just really, really good new artists, I don't know.
Yeah.
Gracie Abrams just opened for Taylor Swift. I almost saw her, but she got rained out.
Oh, wow.
I know. Fred again has been nominated for all these things, but at the end of the day, I just see him everywhere. And the Grammys don't like country much, so I went with Noah Kahan.
You went with Noah Kahan?
I went with Noah Kahan. Stick Season was all the rage.
Stick Season. I mean, we both like Stick Season.
Yeah, and then he did the covers, or new versions with Hozier, with Gracie Abrams. Like, he's been going to town with Stick Season. People have been eating it up, and I think a lot of people are going to vote for it.
Yeah.
You talked a lot about Ice Spice in other parts of the Grammys, and Victoria Monet.
Sure did.
Was that...
Sure did.
What do you think? Did that sway you? Was that your best new artist somehow?
I don't know. Maybe. Go ahead and reveal.
You picked... Oh! Noah Kahan also!
Noah Kahan!
Whoa!
Wow.
That's exciting.
I did not think you were going to pick Noah Kahan. I thought you were going to go Jelly Roll just because of how much you talked them up the rest of the stream.
It's just that there's just this seeming bias against country music in the Grammys. Just at large.
Because they churn out the same sounding songs about
Well,
the same topics.
That's
and
it.
They don't write their
Jelly
own songs
does
half the
not.
time. And
So Jelly doesn't, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll take this. I could see it happening, and it wouldn't surprise me. But I wasn't comfortable enough with it to give it my prediction.
fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Also, just all these lower fields will be worth 1 point each. The general field will be worth 2 points per.
So that it's out of
guess.
an even 100.
Yeah.
If one of us somehow gets everything 100% correct, we'd have a score of 100.
Which would be wild. Like that feels like winning the lottery kind of odds. To pick 94 Grammys without missing, unbelievable. I'd go buy a lottery ticket if I did that.
I wouldn't, because I think I would have used all the luck doing that. I don't think I'd ever have another ounce of luck in me for the rest of my life if I did that.
If you picked all the Grammys. Yeah, and we'd have this as proof, right? This is tangible proof if we pick all the Grammys right, that we did pick all the Grammys right beforehand. So that's super cool.
an interesting pick for Song of the Year.
Song of the Year is up next. It's gonna be tough. The nominees are Lana Del Rey's A&W, Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift, John Batiste's Butterfly, back in it again,
Yep.
Dance the Night by Dua Lipa, Flowers by Miley Cyrus, SZA's Kill Bill, Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, and What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. All such good songs. It's a battle. This is a battle.
Real battle. And the person I have coming out on top, I mean,
You didn't pick
she's
Miley.
the queen.
No, okay, Dua?
She's the queen.
You got Dua Lipa?
The queen always comes out on top. Dance the Night from
Dua
Barbie.
Peep! You know what?
Dua Peep.
That's fair. I really like that song. Obviously, I love
Dua Lipa had to give the queen something here. I think again, Barbie is in such the public mind, even still. I mean, at the time of all this voting was going on, and I think it would win Song of the Year over What Was I Made For, simply because it's poppier, it's more upbeat. I think it has. What Was I Made For is more of a ballad. I don't see that necessarily winning Song of the Year as much.
Sure. I could believe that.
I mean, I haven't heard a lot of these other ones, so I wouldn't be surprised if the other ones win. I know Taylor Swift's super popular. SZA's been blowing up. Olivia Rodrigo's always been big, So any of these could win, and I would not be surprised. There's not a single song in this category that could win and surprise me.
Same. But I went with the flow. I think of public opinion. I've heard it so much on the radio everywhere, all the time. It seems inescapable. It seems like everyone's talking about it. It seems like everyone likes it. My pick for Song of the Year was Anti-Hero.
Anti-Hero, yeah. It's a safe bet.
It's a safe bet. It's well written enough.
Taylor Swift is one of the biggest artists of our time right now.
She is, and it's well written enough. I think that it's got mass appeal, but it's still got a little bit more beneath the surface. It's not just a pop song. There's a little bit of substance in it.
Yeah.
So
I didn't feel like I didn't want to try to play the votes. I wanted to pick. This comes up anytime we do one of these picking things, like with our brackets. You typically play the votes. I typically just pick whatever the heck I like.
Right. True.
For the most part. And so I didn't feel I would be being authentic with my picks if I picked Anti-Hero, since I didn't really know the song, even just because I knew Taylor Swift.
Sure.
If the song had gotten big enough that it had breached the Connor barrier and I knew it and I liked it, I might have picked
barrier.
it. But
Yeah. We're gonna go out of order here. Record of the Year is technically number 1 in the general field, but since we're doing Album of the Year as our episode,
we are making that our number 1.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one we reveal the last. So, Record of the Year, the nominees are Worship by John Batiste, Not Strong Enough by Boy Genius, Flowers by Miley Cyrus, What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish, On My Mama by Victoria Monet, Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift, and Kill Bill by SZA. Record of the Year, remember, the difference between Record of the Year and Song of the Year. Song of the Year is all about the words and music. Record of the Year is all about the recording. And that played heavily into my decision here.
Oh, okay.
I think a lot of these songs are great. songs. They're very well written songs, as evidenced by the fact that like half of them were nominees for Song of the Year too. But if we're just digging straight into like production, one song that stands kind of a cut above in its production and it's just different elements all working together in a really, really satisfying way for me, that is Worship, Jon Batiste. It's a really cool song. It does a lot. It's got a lot of moving parts, and I think they all just come together into a really compelling song. Really good record. And there's so many others. Again, I just wouldn't be surprised if they win, but I also don't think I picked Jon Batiste for too many other categories. I know we both put Movement 18 in there and stuff, but yeah, I just wanted to give him a little more love.
So this, for me, was one because, again, I know there's a distinction between Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and records like all about the actual recording, whereas songs about like the song itself, right? And so for this one, I tried to think about who's really good. Again, because the only song in here I really knew was What Was I Made For and Flowers, right?
Yeah.
But I thought about both of those, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to pick either of those. I don't think either of those are going to win the Record of the Year. I thought they both had a chance to maybe win Song of the Year if they were there, things like that. But I didn't think that that the specific recording with like the mix, because it's all about like the recording engineers and the mixers win this and stuff like that. And I was like, who in here do I know has really good recording engineers? And like we talked about, so like I was looking at the Jon Batistes and the Taylor Swifts of the world here, because I know that they're really good at putting together a solid recording.
True.
And so my pick was based off of that, and in this scenario, I did give it to Anti-Hero for that reason, because I know people go nuts over Taylor Swift, and like, I mean, she's been doing all this stuff with like re-releasing all of her old albums with like the Taylor versions and stuff like that. So like, I thought she'd be somebody that could produce a really good recording.
That's Jack Antonoff. I mean, he
even
is
though
your
I don't
producer
really
of the
know
year.
the song. Oh, that's true. That might have also played into why I did it. Now that I'm thinking about that.
I think that's a fine pick. I think Anti-Hero
I don't know the song well enough, so I was more hedging my bets on Taylor and Jack Antonoff here than I was anything else.
Yeah, it just feels like it's missing a little bit of that special sauce. From a production standpoint, I think Worship is a lot more dynamic than Anti-Hero. But, we'll figure out what the winner is in no time at all once the Grammys get here.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Album of the Year, the big one. The nominees, one more time. One of these will get its own episode of Spin It next week. World Music Radio by Jon Batiste. The Record by Boy Genius. Endless Summer Vacation by Miley Cyrus. Did you know that there's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard by Lana Del Rey? The Age of Pleasure by Janelle Monáe. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Midnights by Taylor Swift, or SOS by SZA.
I just have a feeling several of these are going to become episodes whether they win or not.
They are. Don't worry. I've been waiting to see what wins so I can put the other ones that I'm going to do
our
into
schedule of what's upcoming has been missing a few that just say Grammy potential winner.
Leftover Grammy. Yeah,
like
what,
you're shoving somebody in there.
Well, it makes sense because the other thing is I have to take notes and get ready to record an episode on no turnaround time at all.
Sure.
So the more that I prepare for episodes we could do in the future, if they win, like I did that last year with Beyonce and Harry Styles, I was like, we'll definitely do an episode on both of these. So I might as well be ready.
So for me, on this one, again, I went with what I felt should win, not necessarily maybe what will win.
Yeah.
And so this probably isn't going to shock many people, but I think what would be great for Album of the Year, not only because I really like the album, but because I think it would be great for the podcast in the Year of Healing. I went with Endless Summer Vacation.
Oh, I knew
by
you'd
Miley
do
Cyrus.
this.
I think a return to Miley Cyrus, Endless Summer Vacation, would, I mean, the year, I mean, the things went south with us, I think, for the first time with Plastic Hearts.
It was
Miley
certainly an
Cyrus.
interesting development in the podcast.
And so I think in our
progression.
year of healing, what would be more healing than a return to Miley on as a Grammy-winning artist? You know, a bit of a redemption arc for Miley on the podcast, from rags to riches, if you would.
Rags to really? Oh, you want to say Plastic Hearts is rags, huh? Okay.
Well, in your mind, it is. For me, it was a 9 and one of my highest 9s. But you crapped all over it.
I didn't crap all over it. It didn't score.
It was there was a couple spots that were crapless.
It didn't score super great. I can
admit.
admit it, but yeah, I did not. It's no secret that I was not the biggest fan of Plastic Hearts. It's not as bad as you make it out to seem, definitely. But it wasn't my favorite. I have listened at this point to all of these albums for at least a month in preparation for this.
I figured.
So many of them could be repeats for us. It's wild. I'd never imagined when we started doing Grammy episodes that this would be a problem we'd run into. But, I mean, give it one more year, and maybe they'll all be potential repeats. Maybe we won't have a choice. Who knows? I like a lot of these different albums for a lot of different reasons. And I went back and forth. You know, I don't particularly want to do Guts is the one I said I feel strongest about. I don't think Guts should win this award. I think Guts is, respectable. I think a nomination is nice. It's a good nod. I genuinely would be confused and a little upset if Guts wins Album of the Year. Okay. I don't think it surpasses the other albums on this list. I
think it's going to win because typically the ones you don't think are going to win.
I know. I'm bad at picking. I also think World Music Radio is a step down from Jon Batiste's We Are in some ways.
Oh.
I think production-wise maybe it's actually a little higher just in terms of just overall. But the concept is a little loose. But We Are did win the Grammy. So to say that doesn't lower the bar much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We Are is like in my top 50. But at the end of the day, my pick for Album of the Year is Endless Summer Vacation by Miley Cyrus.
Oh, no, that scares me because I just said you're not good at picking these. Oh, no.
Yeah, I was surprised by it, and I don't want to say too much. Obviously, we both kind of think it'll win, and if it does, it'll get a repeat. But
that's wild. That has blown my mind.
It was my Album of the Year pick. I looked at this list long and hard, and I thought really in depth about all of these, and this is where I landed.
Heck yeah.
So that's our Grammy picks. All 94 are predictions, and we'll keep track during the day of. We'll update this list as things come out.
Yep.
And then the next day we'll record our episode, and it'll come to you on Friday. What did we say? February 9th. You'll get to hear who won and get to hear the wrap-up and all the stuff. Yep. Boy, that's exciting. This is really fun.
And if you want to take a look at the list, if you want a refresher when you go into the episode, you can find it on our website, www.spinitpod.com, where you'll also be able to find the episode. There's a whole tab that has our ranking list, actually, that has all our rankings of every album James has ever ranked and every album I've ever done on this podcast for me. And then it'll also have this tab that has our Grammy predictions.
Yes. Yeah, it's on the official ranking spreadsheet at the end of it. So you can find it there. I'm going to come back to the cameras now. It's been a long time.
Heck yeah. It has been a long time. I haven't seen our faces in forever.
Hi, we're still here. Still doing our thing.
Hello.
Yeah, we tried to find a way to put our cameras on the screen with the spreadsheet, but it was just, there's no way.
The text got too small.
You weren't going to read it. It was too hard to read. So we're back here. Yeah, we've predicted every Grammy. That's exciting. This has been good bonus content.
Fun. I like doing this. I think it's good.
I liked it too.
I think we should do this again.
I think 2024 we're in a good place with podcast production. I think we'll see a lot more bonus content this year. We just did a Florence and the Machine supplementary backtracks episode where we determined whether I picked the right album. We have a fun idea
for a March Madness bracket thing that we're gonna do.
Yeah,
that I've been working on.
That's gonna be a whole episode.
Is that gonna be an actual episode?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure.
I think so. For March.
Heck
But
yeah.
stay tuned for more supplemental content like this. Bonus stuff. It's a lot of fun. And keep an eye on Twitch for more live streams. We did stream this live at twitch.tv/Spinitpod. You can come next time and be a part of the action.
Close to
Really close, right? I'm
get
excited.
a lot of really fun toys when we get there.
Yep. Yeah, but I suppose we should sign off. This has been as long or longer than an episode recording, so we'll probably call it a night here. But you can find Spin It if you like this and haven't listened to the podcast. For some reason, you're still here. You can find Spin It wherever you listen to podcasts. We rank an album every week and talk about all the tracks on it. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun. We learn a lot of weird stuff. Weird facts and spins. All kinds of fun stuff. So,
It's very fun, yeah.
we will see you on Friday for another new episode. Get stoked about the Grammys. Heck yeah. And until next time, keep spinning.
Keep spinning.
There, I'm going to hit stop on the recording and say bye to chat. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.